All right. Peace, power, and profit. Peace, power, and profit. Unc Uja Seneb, life, prosperity, and health to all you entrepreneurs, go-getters, trendsetters, right? You stakeholders, shareholders, right? You board of directors by way of your your voting rights on your prospectus, right? Shout out to everybody today on this Throwback Thursday, or as we would say, Throw It Forward Thursday, right? What we do here is about edifying the value of financial literacy in regards to using equitable assets. So just the idea of entrepreneurship as a whole. So shout out to those who are risk takers, rightfully so, using proper due diligence and proper research methodology to help you get to a equitable conclusion in your endeavors. Shout out to you all today. And everybody out there who's waiting, whether they've accepted the call or not, to engage opportunity outside of the 9 to 5. Shout out to you all as well, right? It's a movement right now that's going around the globe, if you ask me, that's causing people to really reevaluate their situation, especially when it comes to believing in the system or the status quo, right? Which is shown to be very uh, sketchy of late. Have coming out of a pandemic, dealing with now uh, massive issues with inflation. I mean, many other things, food shortages. Yeah, I mean, you name it. Right? There's a side eye that's starting to really, you know, precede a lot of people now. When you start thinking about government or speaking about government, people start looking like, But anyway, as we are, duly elected, as investors and traders, of course, we look at everything and we analyze everything much as possible because it gives us the best sorts of understanding, or at least we can interpret the information uh, from a very unbiased perspective when it comes to, whether or not it's a, profitable moment or not. Nonetheless, it helps our analytical skills tremendously by way of our profession as investors traders and doing what we need to do to find primary source information, right? So again, it'd be remiss if we didn't speak about that, because a part of our, disciplinary action requires us to be students of that, of that research value. And so when you have markets like what we're dealing with, let's say over the past month, right? Well, this current month of April, coming off of March, which was really crazy. The month of February was like through the roof, revealing in a lot of ways in terms of how we closed down very, weak. We show a lot of weakness in the markets, and March came around, and then the Feds and the bankers like, well, hey, we're not going to just go out, without a fight. And of course they caused this massive bounce off the lows of 410 and ran the market back up to like 462, solidifying the value that the pump protection team is still employed in Washington D.C. Right? Shout out to the pump protection team, right? As you guys may or may not know who they are, you might want to Google that reality, right? They're headed by BlackRock. I'll just say that, right? Even though it's a very skewed conversation topic point when people raise it up, but we know BlackRock has a mandate that they wrote. It's a manifesto, so to speak, in the weirdest way, right? In case this happened, deploy this capital, do this, do that, this, that, the third, right? So yeah, it exists, right? But nonetheless, shout out to everybody maybe coming in the building today. Peace, power, profit. Oba Showers in the building. Shout out to Oba Showers in the house today. Our resident scientists, right? Our resident scientists in the building. Shout out to our friend Be Humble in the house as well. Shout out to you, Oba. Hope you're having a great day. Oba Chris Woods in the building. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Don't think twice. Go support your tribe. Shout out to Oba Chris Woods in the house. Our family Yoda in the building today. Shout out to you as well, family. Peace, power, and profit to you. Hope your day is going well as well. Hope everything that we're endeavoring today ends up securing, obviously leading us to securing the bag. Hence what we're trying to do here every day when we go live, right? We're trying to, again, challenge the status quo, right? In a myriad of different ways, right? So, all right, we'll just get right into it. So as you see on the screen, of course, today we had a myriad of current events, especially coming off the data that we got early in the week with the CPI readout. That was just staggering. Of course, we'll go into that at some point. The PPI data that followed it up, again, that was just staggering in itself. Wednesday, which shows that, regardless of how, or wherever you may get your news or your, updates when it comes to the market related, market related information values, I should say, or economic data points, whatever. It would seem as if, Wall Street is in the business of always trying to signal the all clear, right? They always a part of this all clear, symposium. Right? Everything is fine, change my mind, the world is not, in trouble. But, again, smarter people know better, right? We play ball regardless of whatever the rules, may, require us, but we're not silly, right? We're not stupid. You know, we're not gullible, right? We know that there's, again, people in place in power who are trying to skew your outlook, right? And we're not talking about, you know, something minor or these little, minuscule things. These are major data readouts that are affecting people day to day, right? Again, real time, you know, issues that are crippling the economy, right? When I say that, meaning the economy is supposed to be backed by the people, right? Their labor participation, their spending participation. If those people are starting to clamp their wallets and their purses and clutch that stuff very tight now, what does that say, right? Or they're going along at the moment because they feel like they have no choice because they have to be able to put food on the table and put gas in their cars, right? And it would seem as if the consumer is still weathering this storm, but they're strong. No, they're being forced to. They're being hijacked. They're being economically hijacked by the system, and they have no choice. Right? We haven't reached that point where anarchy has kicked in, and people say, "Well, I'm not gonna," they're just refusing to buy. They're gonna, boycott and picket this stuff. But as of now, people are just like, man, I guess we'll give it a moment. Right? We'll see if they can fix this stuff and iron all the differences out. But again, this is the game of how government works. It loves kicking the proverbial can down the road. They'll dangle the carrot of all clear long as they can to get your submission. They want your submission. They want you to be complicit. By being complicit, that says that, to them, that says, well, the American people are backing us. They're backing this moon. They're backing us sending money to, Ukrainians, and they're backing us doing all these kind of, weird policy, emergency policy mandates out of the blue. Again, could be no further than the truth. I mean, it's all hogwash, right? We know it to be a whole lot of just, malarkey, right? We know what it is. But again, that's why channels like this exist, because we are trying to be a voice of reason, a voice of character, and at least some dignity, where we're not going to just, always try to put makeup on a pig and call it, I don't know what, a show dance or something. No, it's a pig, right? Right? Or as the saying goes, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then apparently it's a duck. And the markets right now are definitely a duck. No matter how much it tries to act like it's a hawk, right? Or it's a dove, or it's a whatever. But nonetheless, again, these things become paramount because people will feel it, right? They're feeling it again at these places of business, these grocery stores and gas pumps and et cetera, et cetera. Right. Shout out Oba brother and brother Mathis in the building. Shout out to you as well today, Oba. Hope you're having a great day. Anybody that may be listening that may not be in a position to type, who's just patronizing the, by using a view or whatever, we appreciate you. Right. And definitely don't hesitate, hit the like button, share, subscribe, do the whole nine when it comes to that. Turn on the notification, get notified when Brother Afurakan go live, because what we do is we open up our platform to everybody. So you're welcome to come on to the panel as well and discuss what the world may look like to you from an economic perspective. If you're investing, if you own a business, if you're thinking of doing so, you're in the right place if you're hanging out with us. I'll just tell you that. Right? We're equal opportunity, minded people when it comes to those things, right? So shout out to you as well, right? And I'll get the link here shortly, so we'll get the link popping and have you guys come onto the panel if you are able to. Of course, I know it's midday for some of you guys. You might be grinding, you're watching the market, you got things going and popping like myself. Of course, I'm tearing the market up today a little bit myself. Got these SPY puts popping, right? Caught that 444 top up there, and was waiting on it, saving that bacon, right? And now we're eating the vegan bacon for myself, but nonetheless, we're eating. So shout out to you all as well. So again, getting to the topic, as you see on the screen here, we got the thumb up of Elon, right? Good old Elon, right? Elon just been having a wild last couple of weeks, and or is it 2-3 weeks, right? With all the things that happened with the cyber rodeo. Before that, of course, the whole idea that him, taking a massive stake in Twitter, whether he didn't let everybody, know or didn't know, whatever, but people got excited about the idea of that, with Elon being a part of that culture of dismantling the woke culture ecosystem, right? So a lot of people who are, of that mindset are up in arms with Elon. They walked off the job at Twitter. They're using derogatory language about him, putting up memes about him, and it's a mess out there right now, right? People have gotten really too comfortable in their position of being stunts, proponents of one ideal and one ideal only. Like, people don't have no shades of gray anymore. It seems like you're one way or the other. You black or you white, you Republican or you Democrat, you East or you West, right? You with America or you with Russia, right? This bipolarization that we've been funneled into by the media and the government is it's crazy. Like as if you don't have moments where you can, realize that there's shades of gray in any situation or scenario. There is shades of gray in terms of even the Russian-Ukraine situation. And yet policy is kicking everybody in the teeth. Why? Because they want to do the get down and lay down tactic on you and say, well, if you say anything, contrary to what our narrative is, we're going to penalize you, or we're going to sanction you, socially through some kind of form of means where you may, communicate and hang out. It's crazy. And this is 2022. And we reached a point now where we're going back to the old, Stalin days, right? Old school, German days or whatever. And these people act like this is normal, right? They act like this stuff is normal. We're talking about major corporations, Google. Some of you content creators out there, again, if anybody out there who are content creator who watches, hang out, over here on our channel a little bit too, we appreciate you. But think about it. I got a notice the other day, from Google that they're gonna, stop any kind of Google AdSense payments for anybody who's putting out anything contrary to what their narrative is about how they view Russia, or if they say anything different than what they require of Ukraine, they're gonna take away your payment, or they're gonna put it on pause. And I was reading this like, what is this? Like, are y'all serious? At this level, of course, I don't get into all that. I'm an investor. We're an investor channel, so we talk about everything because it's it has to do with the market. And so we're gonna speak with context and clarity about these things. We're not gonna be bullied in our own right. But nonetheless, because we don't make YouTube is not our source of income, right? We don't sit around just hoping and praying that the YouTube gods just continues to just shower views and all this stuff on us. That's not our modus operandi out here. Well, at least myself. Right. I'm not dependent upon these apparatuses to float my boat. They add a little bit here and there, but it's not the end all be all. But for the most part, again, it's just showing you how how the certain people have been able to work themselves into a position of power, and they're willing it from a very, how can I say this? They're willing it from a very unorthodox way that's going to make more problems. It's gonna make problems worse than solving them. I'll say it that way, to be kind of balanced as much as possible. They're making things worse as much as they think they're making them better, right? In their mind, right? All this censorship and wokeism and cancel culture, this and this, that, and the third. Again, they're sequestering, large swaths of good talent, and saying that, because you might have said something 10 years ago, we're gonna check you on that. Right? We're gonna hurt your money or some silly stuff like that. Again, not even like, okay, well, we start that meter today and start kind of, checking you now. It's like, no, we're going back for past, present, future, all that. These people are retarded. Let me really be the first one to tell you, they are retarded. And if you are a person who is being backed off your square, off your truth, right? And because of the fact that you're trying to appease an obvious agenda, an obvious agenda, then I don't know what to say to you. look, you letting people take your manhood and your womanhood away from you. I don't know what else to tell you, right? That could be uh a sinister, prerequisite for what may come, what you just will allow going forward, right? And I'm like, no, why would you do that, right? Again, if you don't brainwash yourself and your family and your household, somebody else will willingly, right? Somebody else will willingly, and it's up to us to change that narrative best we know how. So anyway, as you see, Elon again in the news again, he's making this forceful move to try to put again, in this way of speaking truth to power by taking over some of these so-called quote unquote left-wing platforms, i.e. Twitter, Facebook, et cetera, who kind of fall in line with the status quo of the government's mandate, and say, hey, you guys are doing more than what you were designed to be as a number one, a free quote unquote, using that word now, democratic corporative value, where you're going to allow people to again express themselves to a degree, because we're not doing anything over the top, but we know what over the top is. Again, people have a conscience. People realize the extent of going too far, what that looks like, what it entails when it comes to other people, right? Or things that are just, again, child, pornography, stupid stuff, right? Goofy stuff that they're actually trying to seemingly want to make that stuff somewhat normal. And these are the same people censoring you, but trying to sneak in the idea that we need to be teaching kids who are in the kindergarten and first grade about sexual education. Let that marinate for a moment. These are the people trying to teach your kids about sex ed and how your kid, be it boy or girl, because I'm going to say it, boy or girl, genetically, scientifically, universally, nature, may not be a boy or a girl. They could be whatever they want to be. Are you kidding me? Again, we throwing centuries away of science away. We're going to throw centuries of science away to try and experiment to kind of appease people who want to live a lifestyle that's unbecoming of what nature will even look at. Like, what's this? Like nature, like looking back, like shaking their head, like, are y'all kidding me? Again, whatever. And I'm just using this in context to what this whole ideal of this whole, of how we look at ESG, and ESG is important, right? Environment and social governance is being hijacked. The true nature of environment and social governance is supposed to be surrounded around, again, understanding the fair value of doing things that make a better qualitative value of life for everybody. Now, but within doing so, one side should not be the archetype over others. Everybody have a dual mandate to submit something that makes the planet better, ecologically, right? Socially, right? Through fair governance, right? And making sure people can eat and survive and live their truth. But it does not feel that way. It does not seem that way. It seems like they're doing more from one side in a way where it's just overriding or vetoing everybody else's mandate. Couldn't make this stuff up. Again, y'all guys know what I'm saying. I know speaking to intelligent people right now. So anyway, Elon is supposed to be deemed the prodigal the prodigal son, right? He's the prodigal son to overtake the woke culture in its own right? Because we know he's a very outspoken person. He's always been that way. Give him credit for that, be it hate, like, love, and indifferent to his terminology or talking points or whatever. But nonetheless, he seems to be the only thing out there where those type of forces out there who is trying to really solid everyone, they can't deal with him. Why? Because he got the purse, right? That makes him first, right? He got the bag that keeps him, ahead of the lag. And either way you look at it, he causes a problem for people who are abusing their right to silence everybody else in a way where they can't deal with him. They can't silence him. They can't run amok and just do whatever they want to do, in essence, to try to, again, dumb everybody else's truth down. They're afraid of him for that. They're afraid of him because, and he's making the planet better. He's doing his part in ESG in a way where they can't push back against, because they're not doing half as much what he's already done in terms of at least making somewhat, whether you for or you against, a qualitative way of life better for the average, inhabitant on this planet. Again, with electrical vehicles, with the idea of the solar panel business that he has, the idea of this whole space exploration. Again, Starlink, giving people who never even had the idea of thinking what, internet access will look like. He's giving these people internet access in these rural places that's deep in the jungles. Again, a lot of different other things that he does. Of course, again, whether you for or you against him, that's up to you. But just looking at his body of work from a place where we say, well, who's doing something to make the planet better in some aspect? Well, then you cannot overlook Elon. Of course, you can't. That's just being straight up, let's just be solid about this. You can't overlook his contributions, right? So therefore, again, a lot of these, again, quote unquote, woke environments or woke enclaves or as we call them, woke echo chambers, right? And they come from a myriad of different facets too. I mean, it's woke culture on every topic you can think about, right? Even from the COVID spectrum all the way across to, dealing with Russia and everything in between. Like if people are aligning themselves with these echo chambers where they're not getting opposing values, rightfully so, because you want to have information presented to you in a way where you can check every aspect of it, the pros, the cons, the do's, the not, whatever, the don'ts, whatever. That's the only way you're going to be able to draw a more formidable conclusion. Again, that's a form of maturity, right? You're not running from a fight. You're not even running to a fight. You're saying, well, okay, what's out there? What are people saying? What are people presenting? Let me weigh this stuff based upon the information that's out there and see where where things lead. That's objective. That's objective. That's the way it's supposed to be. It should be a subjective perspective all the time. You're subjected to this. You have to accept this. It's this way or no way. If you were operating under that mentality, you are living life wrong. You're living life wrong. All right. And so it's important to realize that. So again, saying all that, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So again, as you see here, Elon, targets the takeover of Twitter, right? Well, why is this important? Why? Because Twitter, even, let's say unlike Facebook, Twitter has a more of a, I would say that it has a more of a professional value and within its user base than that of Facebook. We know that, right? Mark is just equal opportunity. He just want to get many views as possible. He can just, take your data and share it and sell it, right? Twitter is more control, right? It's more, again, especially before they even talked about this little edit button, but it's definitely like, again, if you put it out there, we're gonna document it. So you better be choice with your words or your message, or we're gonna have a track record of seeing exactly how you get down. So it requires a more of a, again, people have fun and wild out on it too. Don't get it twisted, but it does, require a certain, pause a little bit sometimes before people just kind of jump and throw anything out there on it, right? Even though it's ratchetness all over Twitter, but y'all get my point. But there's different sectors of it. Of course, there's Twitter Space, there's investment Twitter, like where we like to hang out, like investment Twitter, right? If you guys might not be familiar with investment Twitter, I'll just, let me reintroduce you to it. You go to Twitter, put in a ticker symbol, right? Matter of fact, let me share it real quick. Let's do it in real time so you guys can see this stuff in real time. All right, you go to Twitter here. Let me open up a Twitter, my little Twitter page, I guess. Again, like, share, subscribe to those, my other little YouTube and social media pages, whatever. All right. But let me go over here really quick and show you. All right. So investment Twitter, right? And this is good because investment Twitter gives you, again, it gives you a great, portal where you can come in also do some deep diving, right? Do some deep dive when it comes to what? Investments and things of that nature, right? So let's go to investment Twitter. So let's go, matter of fact, let's go to Twitter on investment Twitter. So you put in the cash symbol, it's called cash tag, whatever ticker symbol you're looking for or looking to, again, research, and you click it. All right. And on there, you'll see it's rated towards, anything that has to do with that stock, that equity, whatever. It's going to give you a myriad of different things you can look at for, top posts that people might be putting out. Again, there's Walter Bloomberg, he puts out a lot of stuff, a lot of updates. Elon Musk has offered to buy 1% of Twitter for $54.20. We know that news is all over the internet right now. Of course, you can put the latest up there and get the most latest incremental news on it. This is kind of giving you real time what people are thinking about Twitter, where they're putting out first-hand information, they speculating or whatever the case. It's a great way to track some of these stocks as well and get a different point of view. Right, get a different point of view. Then breaking news: Twitter shareholder Saudi Prince Ali Walid says Musk offer is too low. See, there's somebody with a little bag, right? We're talking about a Saudi Prince and Ali Walid saying what Musk offer is too low. Well, of course, Musk gonna offer less. Why would he offer more? this is a game of chess, not checkers. This not about feelings and what you want somebody just to come out the gate. You always negotiate, right? You always start off what, right? In your mind, high and work low, right? Even though people will say, well, no, we're worth much more than what you're offering, but whatever, play ball. But again, come over here, put it in a ticker symbol. You'll be able to kind of do just like we were speaking about here. Track this information in real time. See what other investors or traders are thinking. Some of them are prominent. Some of them are just, down the line. But nonetheless, you have a way to kind of just throw around some different ideas based upon what everybody else is saying. See, there are a couple people speaking about this the Saudi prince now. Look here. Even, the Spanish speaking people, right? They're speaking on that there, right? So, again, whether that's, doing anything for the stock or not, well, that's to be what that's to be determined. Because right now, of course, it had that big pop early, and then since then it has pulled back, right? Because I swung next week's $50 Twitter calls from yesterday into today. I didn't know this news was going to happen. I just used the basic rule of law that if an investor, or you have a scenario like what we dealt with Elon, with this whole Twitter takeover space, right? And he went radio silent for like 3 days, which is the rule that you can't speak for at least 3 days without putting out a filing if you're going to do anything different, like if you're like a 13D, right? If you're going to update your shareholder position or do anything of nature, like you want to do a takeover or whatever, you have to have that little silent period to make sure you file it first, and then you can come back and speak to it. Think about it. When Twitter took off, when the news first hit, that Twitter, Elon was thinking about taking a stake in it, or he did have taken, he had took a stake in, I should say. He just upped his ante, right? He was already buying the shares, Twitter shares. It wasn't like it was nothing new. Then, in came the lawsuits because people feel like he, mismanaged the opportunity to really put the press out there strategically and lawfully, where in a way it caused them to sell their shares prematurely. Whatever, that hit the airways all Monday, Tuesday it really went wild. Wednesday it was just all over the place about Elon being sued by former shareholders because again, he didn't file the proper paperwork to let them know that he was going to take a stake, because that gives them the right to whether they want to hold on to their shares or sell it. Because of a major investor like that, he carries weight, granted. Nonetheless, he had not tweeted on Twitter, I think, since the weekend. He held back. He had actually posted something, and I think he deleted it. And so everybody was waiting for him to tweet again. Of course, he uses Twitter as his main, again, social media, correspondence to a lot of shareholders, to fans of his, to everybody. He uses Twitter in a way to let people know what's going on with him. So him going radio silent for those 3 days. So that says, okay, to me, okay, I know what's going on here. I've been down this road before. I've seen, hostile takeovers with companies trying to buy others, and not as polarized as Elon, of course, but nonetheless, again, we get what was going on here. So I said, you know what? I'm watching Twitter throughout yesterday while the SP 500 was just ripping to the upside, and Twitter really wasn't, it wasn't participating. It was just stuck in this lull, right between 46 to like 45, 30 something. It was just going sideways. I said, oh, they're building this consolidation accumulation. This is them not necessarily just letting it fall back and filling that gap at 40, but also holding it up in the event that Elon, if he does do something, because that idea that he's going to tweet something is coming, they want to be ahead of the game. So I was sitting there mapping it out, reading some stuff. I was okay, yeah, this seems very likely that he's going to put out something. He has to respond to everybody asking him, hey, Elon, what's the deal? What's up? So I was like, okay, I'm going to play this smart. Let me get me a couple of these $50, next week expiration calls. And just in case if something comes out, especially between now and the weekend, not knowing it was going to come out today or over the weekend, at least I'll have me a little risk on, right? Understanding the risk factor in mind here, I'll have me a little risk on in Twitter. And lo and behold, he dropped that 13D filing that he's looking to do a hostile takeover. Just as I was thinking in my mind, like if he pulls something of that nature, it'll look like this, or it'll be somewhat like this. And it popped. And like boom, instant little quick little what? It was like what, $400 some odd dollars. Like quick little $400 some odd dollars. I had to sell it earlier too, because the way that it fell off the pre-market, we went up at highs like near 54, and we're just pulling back, throughout pre-market, which was by design, because we got the OPEC. So, a lot of options are expiring today. So that made the market weird. And then knowing the market makers were caught off guard by this because the pop once before it, and people are gonna be looking to take profit over a long 3-day weekend. I said, you know what, this thing ain't gonna hold up. So I already secured in my mind that I was going to sell these positions, even though I had them swung for next week. I'm going to take the bag now. Bird in hand beat one in the bush. Right? Shout out to me. And I did just that. And I have no regrets. But looking at the stock now, guess what? It was the right move. Because what is Twitter doing right now? It's backpedaling, right? It is doing just that. It is backpedaling right now, right? It gave back pretty much all those gains, and it's red, literally. It's red on the day. Key might close yesterday at 45.85. It's sitting at 45.67 right now. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to play this game. I see what's going on here. So as soon as we had the little chatter here and you had a little spike up little candle right there, I was like, it's time to roll. It's time. It is time to roll, right? It is time to roll, right? Coming in right here and definitely being underneath the VWAP and the 20-day moving average and the VWAP moving underneath the 20-day moving average. That's completely a sell signal. Completely a sell signal here. You see it there, all clear as day here. So I'm not sitting around waiting for this thing to do act like it's going to pump. Or I'm not finna do it. So I'm like, okay, I'll take this little 4 day and change and ride into the sunset. And lo and behold, again, Twitter right now is just eating straight, eating dirt right now. And a lot of it has to do with the idea that the way that he structured his letter or his quote unquote his his terms of the takeover, it didn't sit so well with a lot of the Twitter investors, right? Why? Because he's trying to force Twitter into making what? A grown man or grown woman type of decision. What is that? Well, hey, this is what I'm offering. Take it or leave it, right? Suitably, who else would want to buy your company? Basically, probably even in all cash. We don't know yet exactly the terms of how you would go about paying for it, but he can definitely do it. Pair it against his shares of Tesla, and definitely be able to pay for it. Especially, his paper gains are just tremendously, rich. But nonetheless, he will have no problem paying for it. We know that. I mean, again, we're talking about the richest man on the planet. But nonetheless, who else would want to buy Twitter? Who else out there would want to buy Twitter? Think about it. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg will be willing to want to put an offer in to buy Twitter? Now, that's another conversation because you say, well, do you think that the SEC and the government and Department of Justice, all these people will allow that? At this junction, even though they allowed them to buy Instagram, and that was a dog, pulling teeth moment. But that's like, one man should have all this power, right? This social power, because that's the new bag now. It's all this social power because you can shape people's minds. It's a form of media. Think about that. Social media is just that now. It is media, but it's not so much based upon you having a more democratic approach to be able to kind of be you, right? It comes with a lot of rules, a lot of rules, now, even more rules now than it did before. So that's too much power. So again, it begs to differ. Who would want to buy Twitter? Snapchat, possibly? Then you go look at the balance sheet, what they got on hand for the free cash flow. What does the cash flow look like? Of course, they will have to sell shares, borrow against whatever. You would start thinking to yourself, well, okay, what makes sense here? Who would want to buy Twitter? Right? Some big investment firm that just want to say, okay, we'll put our stamp on it. Maybe a big one of these, big billionaires overseas. Maybe, I forgot the guy in India, like he wanted, I think, the fourth richest man on the planet. Again, you get my point, right? It can go a lot of different ways. Right? But it just makes us think again, it's going to force them to make a big boy decision. They're going to say, okay, well, dang it, we ain't really got too many choices, but we know he's lowballing us. We know he's lowballing us. We've been over $54 a share, right? In terms of our previous, performance, right? So to speak. So let's go there real quick. Let's see. All right, let's go back to 2015. Just mind you, right? Let's go back and look at this from okay, I forgot I got to do it on the bigger chart. All right, so let's do this here. All right, Twitter at its peak got up as high as like $81 a share. At its peak value, it was up near $81, $82 a share. Elon is saying, okay, look, I'll give you $54 for it, $54.20 to be exact, right? There you go with that 420 stuff. Y'all know Elon is very cryptic, right? He does things in a very weird way, but you know him. There you go with that 420 stuff. So he's wanting $54.20, right? Excuse me. Y'all get it. So, but that puts it somewhat kind of in that mid range of, where we came from before, before COVID became an issue and we dumped down to $20. So we say roughly 36 to around, like we said, 81. So that puts it somewhere around the middle, $54. Look at this from a chart perspective. It puts us right around this area right here, right? Which some would say, okay, yeah, he's lowballing. But why would you pay a premium for Twitter right now, knowing that if you're going to take this company private, right? If you're going to take it private, then the shareholder aspect of this wouldn't even matter. It would be an issue whether or not these shareholders who are sitting in it now feel like they're being lowballed and cheated from the potential growth that Twitter could, grow into, given if they can get their house in order and really find a way to gain more ad revenue. Because that's a problem with Twitter. They've always had problems with really trying to figure out how to, monetize their value. Now, they still had a lot of what they call irons in the fire that they can utilize to monetize, but they was just sitting on it. And they really wasn't doing anything with it. And they were just running people off the platform because of this woke culture stuff. Whether you for or you against it, that's up to you. But I'm just saying, it was killing a lot of that opportunity in a way where you can really open it up. But again, it's neither here nor there, because you say, well, that's hindsight or that's futuristic perspective of what it could be if, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? Right now, we're saying, hey, bro, I'm offering you this now. I'm offering you 41 billion now. 41 billion right now. Bird in hand, beat one in the bush. What you gonna do? Right? Yeah, I'm putting you at a valuation somewhat around this midpoint here. And I'm gonna take the company private. I'm gonna reshape their whole culture, because that's what this is all about. Y'all know what he's gonna do if it happens. He's gonna take it private, because that's the rules that he have in play. He's gonna take the company private and basically just rebuild it from the ground up, and then potentially launch it back later as a publicly traded company once he's gotten all the things in play that he wants. And keep in mind, as weird as people may look at this offer or this takeover as something odd, like why would Elon do that? Y'all got to let's be clear here, guys. Elon has some of the smartest people on the planet on his team. These people are not just engineers when it comes to SpaceX and Boring Company and the Tesla vehicles and the solar stuff like that. These people are very good basic analytic type of mindset people, right? They're very conscious when it comes to, again, the value of what, future technology can do in terms of, shaping, again, social media, et cetera, right? They're quantitative, again, engineers in their own right. They know how to move data around. They know how to do probability, statistical equations a lot. This is what they do all day, every day, right? You think about it. They sending rockets into space, guys, and landing them back down literally on the dime. Nobody else is doing that. Stop playing, right? Even that little, all right, y'all get it. So again, these people, they come from they're cut from a different cloth. So it's not like he just, going to do it. Then he won't go out there search for a team. He may have to, hire a few people as well on that side of things, right? On social media side of things. But for the most part, he already come up with a team intact. He's already come up with a team intact. So again, I'm just saying, if there's ever was a person that can pull something up like this potentially off, it would possibly be someone like an Elon, right? Jeff Bezos, maybe. And that's another part, right? Would Jeff Bezos do this just to kind of pick a fight with Elon? Would he do this just to kind of again, challenge, challenge Elon in a way, or to drive the price up just to become, out of the, just come on and put a bid in just to try to drive the price up to be spiteful against Elon? Could that happen? Who knows, right? But nonetheless, Twitter still has to look around this landscape and ask itself, does it really have any other better opportunities out there? What's going on, Ober Rich B in the building? Shout out to Ober Rich B in the building. Shout out to Ober Son in the house. Got some family coming through. Guys, see you in the building. What's going on, Ober Ramsey? Shout out to our family Logos in the house as well, right? Shout out to everybody coming through that may be paying attention as well, that may not can type. We appreciate your view, right? Again, interesting conversation. Again, I do have a poll up here on the YouTube as well. So again, check the poll out, guys. I'm just curious to know what you guys are thinking here about this hostile takeover of Twitter, right? This hostile takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk here. Will it happen? Do you think it's going to happen, right? Again, this is great for the stock and it's bad for the stock. Why? Because we know undoubtedly if the Twitter board comes back and says, no, that's too low. It depends on how they come back. Again, we know this is going to be shades of greatness. They may just reject it all out, outright says, no, Now, here's what's crazy. They could have did that today and it came out and put a hard rejection on it, like no. Why? Because they're being rubbed the wrong way because of the fact that the culture that they bred inside the Twitter corporate or the C-suite that has a lot of investors feeling like, man, y'all, what are y'all doing? Right. And Elon, potentially getting on the board and then walking away from that board seat was something to say, well, you know what? I don't like the idea of trying to work with y'all under the normal conditions that y'all have now. So what I'll do, I'll just remove myself from the board, which opens up my opportunity now to take a bigger stake on the books for the company, or even do a takeover, because now I'm not, sequestered by, company policy where I have to only can tweet certain things. And he don't have to deal with that now. And now I'll force you guys out who I have a problem with by way of not knowing what you think I'm going to do, right? In terms of if I put in a bid, if I don't put in a bid, these people are sweating bullets for the last 3-4 days. I guarantee. A lot of these people who got a problem with Elon inside of Twitter, they were sweating bullets. A lot of them, y'all saw the tweets. Y'all saw some of the terminology or the quotes, earmarks or ear quotes, whatever. These people were upset. Again, the woke culture, right? The woke culture cry, I guess you want to call it that. These people are vehemently upset. And that shows you exactly how they were just operating under this binary perspective, right? No shades of gray, thinking like their way is the only way. They got all this power and they were just mismanaging. That's just my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. I think they were. It happens a lot. We see that all over Facebook. Again, update. I got that policy from Google today. I was like, what is this? What do you mean? They're gonna be shutting down people, ability to make money on YouTube if you go against. I mean, it's getting messy out there. So maybe this is the prodigal son moment that social media sites are looking for, in terms of if Elon pulls this off, that's going to open up this whole idea of making these sites, quote unquote, somewhat freedom of speech value again, right? Again, the whole idea that Rumble was trying to do that with the whole DWAC SPAC, right? We know what's going on with that, but we know that's a more completely far right, though. Even though it's freedom of speech over there, but it's more it's more far right than it is okay. It just being we're in the center, but everybody get to speak their piece, right? So yeah, maybe something else needs to be reinvented, or maybe something like a Twitter takeover can do just that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it could do just that. Right, it can bring it to the middle and still allow both sides to kind of be the way that they thought they could have been before all this stuff really got hyperbolic. Right? We don't know, but it's worth discussing. Right, but right now, again, looking at Twitter stock again, like we spoke about, it's somewhere in that sweet spot in the middle. Maybe they can pull it off, maybe they won't. It don't matter to me. Why? Because ultimately, if there is such a thing like that and it happens, and they take the route of taking the company private, then yeah, you're gonna get washed out anyway, right? It's gonna be a wash sale, right? You're gonna have to sell, right? You got to take what they're offering at that point and move on anyway. So whether you for or you against it, ultimately in the end, if you have voting rights in the aspect of it, then that's one thing. But you don't. Why? Because if he the majority shareholder by his stake in the company, that instantly overrides your little ability to say anything whether you for or you against it. See how that works, right? You're getting a crash course on how equities takeovers and stakeholders values work when it comes to, right? They call it the majority rule, right? The majority rule wins out at the end of the day, right? In this case, at least, right? But anyway, so yeah, let's get back to a little bit of the talking points. So again, it says Twitter has extraordinary potential. This is Elon's word, right? Just reading off of what he put out for as a presser after submitting his 13D filing form, which pretty much lets you know that he's getting ready to try to submit a bid or offer for the company, right? He says Twitter has extraordinary potential, right? I will unlock it. That part right there, woke culture, head explode, right? They're probably in the parking lot crying at Google, right? Or Twitter, wherever. They was probably somewhere just mean tweeting. They was probably smashing on the keyboard, whatever, right? I will unlock that potential, because they know exactly what that means in terms of Elon's, perspective. Musk, who is already the company's second largest shareholder. A lot of people didn't know he was the second largest shareholder until literally this stuff all came about. He was just secretly buying shares of Twitter over and over and over, and the people didn't even know about it. Couldn't make this stuff up, right? Said in a letter to Twitter's board on Wednesday, the offer was made public in a regulatory filing on Thursday, which obviously he got criticized for because he didn't do it the first time around. He just used his presence on Twitter to put out that poll. Do you think Twitter needs to be re-envisioned or reshaped or whatever? He put that out, and a lot of people got excited about it. That's what caused all this, craziness in the first place. But anyway, right? The offer was made public, in a regulatory filing on Thursday, right? Musk offer price of $54.20. All right, there you go. That 420 stuff again. Where my marijuana people at, right? Musk offer $54.20 per share represents a 38% premium to Twitter's April 1st close. Now there you go. See, they backdated it to April 1st, right? Because I guess that was that first kind of initial value of it when they was thinking about he was took that other position, right? That the last trading day before his 9.1% stake in the social media platform was made public, right? So it's kind of rating it at that particular point, right? I think that time it was like what 30 some odd dollars, something like that, whatever it was, and then it shot up. So he added another 38% premium to that. That puts it around $54.20. Right? Musk rejected an invitation to join Twitter's board this week, and after disclosing his stake, a move which analysts said signaled his takeover intentions, as a board seat would have limited his stakeholder or shareholder position to just under 15%. Of course, this is how the politics work when it comes to these things: buyouts, takeovers, whatever, right? Again, the rules that govern that perspective in a way where what it entails for these bigger, big money bag people to come through and take over a company. These are some of the things that they have to go, work through, right? So of course he don't want to sit on a board where he have limited power or limited reach to do what he really want to do. In his mind, he already had an agenda clearly before he even make that 9.1% stake public. In that regard, he already had an agenda in mind before he put out that Twitter poll that everybody went crazy about, right? Clearly you can see him shaping the dynamic of this already, right? So he told Twitter it was his best and final offer, right? Seriously, Elon, really? Do any of y'all think this is his best and final offer? I'm just asking for a friend. Do any of y'all think that this is his best and final offer for the takeover of Twitter at $41 billion? Right? Again, it's crazy, right? Like seriously, Elon, why are you playing with us, right? Anyway, but it could be. We don't know, right? But whatever. We know how these things typically go. It's negotiations. It's back and forth. It's ping pong, right? It's chess, not checkers. And he said he would reconsider his investment if the board rejects it. So if they came right out and just rejected it all, outright, and then put out some very defaming terminology behind the reason why they said no, then he could just say, you know what, okay, bump all that. I'll sell all my entire stake in the company, which is again roughly near 14%, which would cause catastrophic consequences to the stock. And y'all know this to be true because everybody's sitting there banking on it now, is the fact that he's trying to do exactly what everybody's investing into the company for now, for the fact that he's doing it from a freedom of speech takeover of Twitter. They will be like, you know what, I'm out. And the long-term investors who've been sitting in it because they like the culture of Twitter, they'll be stuck. Why? Because then people are gonna really look at Twitter like a pariah. Like really, y'all wasn't really all that, especially since y'all kicked Trump off and all the other people off. Y'all wasn't really growing like that anyway. So yeah, good luck unless y'all come up with another way to reinvent yourself. Pull a Facebook move and call yourself Meta the second or something, or maybe Neta or Twitter, right? I don't know. They were already kind of like in that gray area of what do they have really good expansion going forward? How can they really exalt their business model? Y'all get it. But those things are the things that you have to discuss when you're thinking about whether or not this is a great growth stock, a great growth perspective in play, regardless of everything else that comes along with how they run the company. right? As an investor, as an investor, we have to be able to look deeper than these initial, optics and say, well, what's really driving the bottom line? What's going to really bring in the free cash flow, right? What's going to really improve the margin, so to speak, right? These things matter. They matter. All right. So again, moving on, he says, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. That sentence right there, that paragraph right there, that sentence right there says it all. That sentence right there at all, it daggers the board of directors of Twitter. It daggers the woke culture, censor, police operatives that are inside of Twitter. That daggers their whole reality. And that's thinking that they can just continue as business as usual on Twitter with such a major stakeholder in Elon, and he be excited about the direction of how the company's going. Clearly, he's signaling right there that he's not excited about the way that the company is going, the direction of it. Clearly, that sentence right there alone says it all. That's what they call grand opening, grand closing. Since making my investment, I now realize that the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company, Musk said in his letter to Twitter chairman Brett Taylor. Couldn't make this stuff up. Of course, the memes are already out, right? They throwing daggers over there. Of course, over there on Twitter, people like, bro, like this. I mean, he looking to kick everybody out, right? The current CEO, and keep in mind, him and Jack Dorsey kind of like somewhat like buddies. But again, y'all know how this stuff is business, not personal. And you would think like, no, bro, come on, from one billionaire to the next. So, come on, bro, don't be like that. Don't do us like that, right? Like Elon, like, bruh, right? No, yeah, I'm gonna need you to get on board. Why? Because you had a chance to shape the company. And we know for the most part what Jack Dorsey did. He relieved himself from that CEO position, right, to go travel abroad to Africa to think about doing other great investment endeavors, technological investment endeavors in Africa to develop Africa in a way because he didn't want all that pressure on him because of how the woke culture came in and obviously hijacked the company away from him. Let's be honest. Given his own, fruition, he would have said, we know this is the way this company is going the real way, but he was under a lot of pressure. Why? Because Trump tested all of them. Let's be honest. Trump tested everybody when he was in office. He tested Elon, Jack Dorsey. He tested Mark Zuckerberg. We talking about the major social media platform. He tested all of them with the way that he was, throwing out these incendiary tweets and Facebook. He tested the boundaries, and it put a lot of pressure on Jack Dorsey. Why? Because these Silicon Valley heads, we know that they're very what? They're very gopher minded. What do we mean by that? Meaning they'll go for anything, right? They like to fall in line with the with the aspect of the government in more ways than they probably should to try to appease the system so they don't have any heat brought down on them, right? Again, y'all know how this stuff works. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I got to speak on that. Why? Because they really, again, they gave away their own power just so people like Nancy Pelosi and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and the crew, and mind you, a lot of different Republicans who got problems against these companies, right? Because they feel like they got too much power. They were coming at them from both ways, Republican and Democrat. So these just were like, bro, I'm out. I'm going to go to Africa. Right? I'm going to get me a backpack and go to Africa. Essentially, that's what Jack Dorsey did. Right? Let's keep it 100. That's exactly what he did. Again, just coming over here real quick. I mean, just look at this here, right? Let's look at this right here. Let's go back over here. Just kind of looking at this ideal of how, the energy over there is just, it's obvious, right? They're like, look, we finna get rid of everybody, right? This whole ideal, Elon just finna get rid of everybody, right? First, Buddy, kick Jack Dorsey out, the current and acting CEO, right? He kicked them out, and now Elon coming to kick him out. Right. And then they got Trump down here all happy, like as if Elon gonna allow Trump to come back on. That's what a lot of people really get excited about, especially on the Republican side. They feel like if he do pull this off, he's gonna open up the door to bring Trump back. Imagine that. These people are losing it because of that. Seriously, these people all over in New York and California, these really, really left-wing environments, they're losing it right now because they don't want Trump to have the power to excite his base. And whether you for or against Trump, I'm just using it I'm an investor. I'm looking at it from an objective perspective here. They are losing it because of that. They're like, man, if Trump get back on one of these social media sites, it's over. You think these people were radical before, they're going to really ratchet up, right? And it's, going into a midterm election. Oh, bruh, they're going to get really crazy. What's going on, Oba Divine in the building? Oba Divine full in the building. Peace, power, and profit to you, Oba. Shout out to Oba Brandon Jemison in the building. Our resident hospital holding it down. Shout out to you, Oba Brandon. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you gentlemen are having a great day, right? Again, we sitting there going through this whole Twitter stuff, guys. We're seeing what's popping, right? If Elon bought that life or not, right? So again, this is what we're left with ultimately at the end of the day. They know that there's a gateway that may provide a path for citizenship, if you will, for Trump to come back into the graces of American social media society. That's his citizenship, card got pulled. And if Elon does this, will he bring Trump back? That's why a lot of people really for this moment. Don't get it twisted. We know it's bigger than what everybody's trying to say it is. And that's also what the left also is trying to do to stop. Think about it, guys. It's deep. It ain't as deep as it seems, but it's deep for some people, right? Who really realize what's going on. It's more, in depth to the ideal of it just being, X's and O's, right? Numbers, right? It's deeper than that, right? It's much deeper than that. All right. So again, it's going to get crazy, especially over the weekend. This is a 3-day weekend too. Oh, it's going to get crazy. Right, there's my sister Maria over there. Shout out to sister Maria, right? My sister Maria Chandri over there, right? My Black Box family, I call my Black Box La Familia, right? She putting out some information for us what's going on with Twitter. Look at, as of now, 2 million contracts of Twitter has already been moved. 2 million contracts. Guess what? I had my little 2 put in yesterday. I was forward thinking, right? I got my little bang in the beginning. I sold inside the 48s. I'm not looking back, right? Right? I'm not looking back, right? I held them. I was buying contracts for next week. I got that little bang up. I said, I'm out. And the market's pulling back today too. I'm out. And the language of the contract or the takeover is really being dissected by a lot of people and analysts. They like, man, look, they like, bro, I'm out, right? Because they know it can go either way. Bird and hand beat one in the bush. So as you see, the contracts are coming in, and a lot of them were skewed probably on the call side. As you see, 53,000 $50 call strikes traded as low as 6 cents and as high as 89 cents. Look at that. From 6 cents to 89 cents. And a swap of 33-cent calls at the VWAP. Look at that differential from 6 cents to 89 cents in that swing alone. It is crazy. Again, like I opened up already deep in the money, and I'm out. I took them little 2 contracts. I only spent like 80 cents a piece for them contracts. It's like 70 some, 7-8 cents a piece for them contracts. A piece, and they paid out over $200 a piece per contract. So again, I'm just saying, it came at the right time. I was wishful thinking. I played it into future aspect of going through the weekend and going into next week potentially. If he drops some news, it's gonna bang up the stock. It happened before the weekend. Appreciate it, Elon. Whatever. Bada bing, bada bung. I'm out. Right. Bada bing, bada bung. Right. So as you see, the calls are still a lot of them probably getting liquidated now because stock pulling back. They're like, man, look, I don't know about this. I'm finna sell now. But yeah, the initial value of it, when the stock probably opened up, people started buying calls and they got trapped. Sadly. Right. They got trapped. Right. But anyway, yeah. So again, you got to understand, you got to know when to move, right? When to hold and when to fold them. Don't get caught. Again, really putting all your hopes in ideal of how you think the market's going to really just truly respond to this news. Why? Because we know it comes with a lot of different contingencies, right? Those contingencies are things that have shareholders very skeptical right now. They want the opportunity of what this can look like, given, if it goes through or they get in this heavy negotiation period, that could be great. But the initially aspect of this, y'all know what's going to happen, right? Again, people going to wake up and see what's going to happen with the stock. It jumped up that much, I'm finna take profit. We'll realize, whether or not we'll wait to see if if Twitter responds throughout the rest of the day. Most people sitting on the sideline waiting to see if Twitter gonna respond before the day a little bit. They hoping that Twitter does respond. Keep in mind, I'm twisted. Don't get it twisted. They're praying and hoping the board of directors at Twitter respond before 4 o'clock. Why? Because if they do, that'll give them a good insight value of what next week may look like. They can set their position, either puts or calls going into next week. And I'm thinking the same way. I took my profit early. I'm finna sit and wait. If they put out something before 4 o'clock, look, I'm either gonna buy me some more calls or I'll be buying puts for next week. Right now, I'm not gonna trade this little shades of gray area right now on Twitter. I'm good. I don't care if it's come down to hit 44. I'm not touching it. All right. Bird in hand beat one in the bush. I'm not gonna give it back after making it. I'm willing to see exactly if the board of Twitter really about that life. If they're gonna put something out, then yeah, they'll get my attention. Right? They'll get my attention. All right. So again, as it goes on to say here, Musk, who calls himself a free speech absolutist, right? That's the thing. He calls himself a free speech absolutist, has been critical of social media platform and its policies, and recently ran a poll on Twitter, right? Y'all remember that infamous poll he ran, saying that if he believed or adheres to the principles of of free speech, meaning does Twitter, right? Does Twitter adhere, right? Does Twitter adhere to the principles of free speech? That in itself, again, says everything too. As this, it's basically saying, you guys are basically worse than the people that y'all claiming that y'all trying to censor. Again, y'all got all this power and y'all willing it, in a very nefarious way, even though you're trying to make it seem as if this is normal. Again, whatever. Whatever side you fall on, whatever. But as an investor, I'm looking at this like, okay, yeah, objectively, this gonna shake up the tree. This gonna shake the tree a little bit. Some apples from the fall, right? Some fruit from the fall. Right? This low-hanging fruit from the fall, right? And it's showing again, these employees of Twitter are going ballistic. They're all over the place, just going ballistic. All right. So anyway, so again, I'm just curious to know what you guys maybe thinking about this or what y'all get. So let me get the link, guys. If y'all want to come on a little bit, you got about another hour or so before I have to probably hop off here. I'm curious to see what you guys may think about this moment here. Join us live here on in the panel here. If you're able to, of course, if you want to just talk about what's going on in the stock market. Of course, this is a stock market investment channel, so we're gonna speak about stocks and whatever, right? But there's the link, guys. You're welcome to come on. You're welcome to definitely come on, share anything that has to deal with the market or whatever, just entrepreneur endeavors, whatever. You're definitely welcome to come on, right? Let me get that link out there to everyone. Let me get that popping, right? Let me get that popping, right? So there's the link. We got that out to most of all the fam. All right. So yeah. So again, that's what today's, this is today's, as they say, this is our soap opera for the day, right? This is the soap opera for the day. All right. Shout out to Ilba Kiana in the building, right? My little sis Kiana checking in from the beautiful country of Belize today. She's down in the Belize island today, soaking up all that beautiful sunlight, smelling all that fresh, tropical air. Probably drinking something with a coconut, on a coconut with a straw in it. Shout out to Sister Kiana Jones, right? Y'all know affectionately known as my, our little sister. She's getting it in, right? Down in the island of Belize today, right? So peace, power, profit to her, right? Just seen that on Facebook. I just able to come over here. And so shout out to her, right? Taking us some time away from the rat race of America, right? America, right? And getting her some R&R, right? Some proper R&R, right? Some good sunny Caribbean R&R, right? Shout out to Sister Kiana, right? In the building, right? So yeah, guys, so that's it. So get the link out there just in case y'all want to pop on or whatever. But I know you guys busy out there trying to, as they say, make $1 out of 15 cents, right? Right. But yeah, so that's what's going on with Twitter, guys. That's the whole takeover for the day. Right, we know the markets are pulling back today. Well, we know why the markets are pulling back today. Some people are like, well, why is the market pulling back today too after having a great day yesterday? Like a myriad of different other reasons why it does and why, these things happen. Because again, markets are getting ahead of themselves as always, and trying to tell you that they're signaling that it's an all clear, energy out there, when truthfully we know it's not. But again, as we know, as investment traders, we play ball. We understand the rules of engagement, right? We're not trying to kind of trade the market unless you have a longer term durational perspective. In the real time, short term perspective, you got to follow the money. If the money's coming in, you get with it. If it's going out, you get behind it, right? That's just how markets work in that regard. If you're trading the market, right, it's different from investing. It's trading, right? So that's just what it is with that. All right. So what's going on, over, Brandon? Peace, power, profit to you, over. We see you in the building. How's your day going, fam?
Oh man, I'm good, sir. How about you?
Man, holding it down, man. Trying to get these little couple pennies before they shut us down for these 3 days.
Right. It's 3-day
good,
weekend.
Good Friday, man. Good Friday, boy. Making me try to get me a little bag here. Y'all tell me y'all shutting down the casino here.
Right. Oh man. But no, I want to speak on a little bit. I want to speak on a little bit about Twitter. Like this thing
Yeah.
really does happen before 4 o'clock. Best believe there's going to be a lot of put and call ratios and a lot of volatility and to come. It's going to be a lot. What's your take on Ian's play? Like why Twitter of all places?
Again, I take the approach that I think. Well, it's not even what I think. I just, if you track him on Twitter, because a lot of times we put out a lot of sound bites from him from Twitter. It's definitely one of those things where we knew that he favors Twitter, obviously, as a form of communication or correspondence to a lot of his followers, his fans, his coworkers, a lot of ways that he can meet a different professionals, this, that, the third. He used that modus, as a way to conduct a lot of his his talking points or his narrative. Now, beyond just a user, he also sees it as a template of how we should be operating, or under the right conditions, how we should be operating with one another in a networking perspective. You see what I'm saying? He sees it from the business aspect and also from the the ad leisure perspective as well. Now, given it the current climate of how we've changed politically with all this social governance that has came about through the woke culture and cancel culture, this, that, and the third, it has somewhat become somewhat parasitic. Well, again, whether you for or against it, based upon what we dealt with Trump. Again, Trump kind of broke the lid on that, right? He kind of opened up that can of worms. But it really showed more so, again, like we spoke about earlier, the intentions of a lot of people who, just because you have a dissenting view, they want to silence you. They don't want to even hear you out. It's that bad now. And said, well, how in the world you having a it's called social media site, and you're killing people's ability to communicate in a way that they may have their own truth, void of yours. Again, as long as it's not defaming, promoting anything of vulgarity, explicit values, child stuff. We know what's this cringe stuff. That's what's crazy too, because they act as if people don't understand that everybody has a cringe meter, right? What you're willing to accept, what you want, right? A lot of this stuff is universal in terms of what we know. We're just not going to allow. Now, some people still look at this stuff as usual, like this is normal, but that's that small fringe element of society that we know that's ratchet and just foul and vulgar, right? Or just ratchet. But for the most part, people know the boundaries, right? It's not even up for debate, if you ask me, my opinion, right? But yet still, this is the game they play. So, Elon came out and said, you know what? Granted, if there was ever a moment where we can probably do something effective to kind of override, some of these platforms that are already out there, my position would be Twitter. Why? Because number one, he already had a personal relationship with Jack Dorsey, right? The clear, owner of Twitter, if you will. Number two, he's more familiar with Twitter than he has value from using Facebook. I think he really has something against Mark Zuckerberg, me personally, right? Because think about it, he rarely even mentions Mark. He'll mention people like Jack and his old gang at PayPal. He came from PayPal, right? He'll mention those people like that a lot than other people, and you might all this guy, but he never really kind of says anything really about Facebook. If you ever noticed that, right? So again, his favorable value really became very, clear is in terms of his attention that he valued, that Twitter to him is more valuable than Facebook. I just put it that way. Because of like those things I kind of described earlier, those kind of prerequisites that it checks off these boxes in terms of that correspondence of network of people, right? Or the echelon of people. So yeah, and it's a way to kind of make a grandiose statement. I'm coming in, I'm the richest man on the planet. I have a big following. Look, I'm finna do a get down and lay down kind of drive by on y'all. I'm taking this one of these sites. Why? Because if y'all go left unchecked the way that y'all going, y'all gonna really ruin the ideal of what freedom of speech really should be about. Why? Because I'm already fighting the SEC. I'm already fighting the Department of Justice. I'm already fighting these, fringe little lawsuits, whether they, proper or not. Again, that's up for the person to decide that. He's fighting all these different things, but he's saying in the long run, yeah, we know that America's going basically to heck in the handbasket. Why? Because y'all moving off the square of what this country's supposed to be about, and y'all act like this is normal. Why? Because y'all brainwash people to accept this woke culture and cancel culture trash.
You know what that is? It's a 4D chess move right there.
100% 4D chess move, and he worded it in a way where they could not escape or misinterpret exactly what he meant. What did he say? He said, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. Again, and he sent that straight to the chairman. Basically, I do not like the way y'all running this business. It's running people away as opposed to bringing people to it. Again, if there's ever was a person to make that kind of, big boy move, it would have to be a person like Elon. And he's very outspoken in a way where his views. His views precede him before he even take a position, be it on the board or as an owner. You see what I'm saying? They won't be confused about what they know they're going to get if it work its way out. It makes sense. So again, it really puts them in a way where this could be that balance that most people was waiting for in terms of these social media giants, where you needed somebody to come in and really change the trajectory of where we're going. They know that DWAC program that they're doing with True Social with Trump, it was going to be hit or miss. We get that, but we know, look, clearly that's more of a far right, website. It's going to be really far right. That's that Marjorie Taylor Greene, that Matt Gaetz, that type of crowd. Like, be honest, right? We know that's like, man. But Twitter, it has already a foundation. So I think this is more him saying, okay, well, I'm already in this space. I got this space locked up and sold up. What else can I do to really evoke the ideal of what this ESG environment should really look like? Again, it's like a Bill Ackman kind of move, right? Y'all know about Bill Ackman. He loves doing them kind of take over play, car icon type of plays. Make sense? Elon can somewhat be in that space now. If he pulls this off, he'll be in that space. Whether they forward it, get some hate, like, love, or indifferent to him, he will now be enthralled into that space of as a philanthropic, type of investor. That's by value of the nomenclature, he would be considered an ESG investor because he's dealing in clean energy. He's dealing in all the different space that already reconciles that, and now he will own a social media platform that's huge like Twitter, and provides it in a way where he's still giving people the ability to be themselves. Again, to with limits, of course, but we're going back to what we consider to be a freedom or a sovereignty website. Now, I'll say it that way, an autonomous sovereignty website, if that makes sense. Right? So yeah, so that's my take on it. So I mean, so what do y'all think? I mean, I know we got some fellas in pot in the building, over Chris in the building, over Son in the building, over Brandon. What do you think about that?
Well, I always got another view of different things, but I'll let y'all say what y'all have to say before I say it.
Well, I mean, it's an open platform. I mean, you know how this stuff go. You know how we roll over at Open Sunday. We ain't like the mother channel that That, you know.
Well, I look at it like this. I really don't think he cares one bit about if people get the freedom to speak or this and this and that, because he's smart enough to understand that one person's freedom is another person's downfall, no matter how you look at it. Whether it's being boisterous or being able to do things physically, one person's freedom is always another person's downfall. So I look at it as he's using this platform because it's a major platform, and it's really only popping the way it does whenever something happens political, because it's mostly a political platform. So with him trying to do the things that he's doing within the next 5 to 10 years, this would eliminate the people that's actually hating on him if he's able to take it over. So now I'm just looking at it on that standpoint versus anything else, because you already got Fox that just merged with DWAC. I mean with Trump's Truth Media. Yeah, Truth. Yeah. And so
DWAC, they took a page on and they opened an account on DWAC too. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at it as what's going to be the top promoting companies for the future, right? And so
the Warner Brother deal just went through. I mean, cut you with them, but yeah. I'm sure y'all was on top of that.
Yeah.
Of course we were.
And so some of these promotions can be on the page of where, just like how you had when Trump was in office, and you had one group was going for him and the other group was hating on him, right? So if Elon Musk can eliminate the hate by tackling Twitter, a lot of political people don't focus on if I'm gonna get my views from Instagram or if I'm gonna get my views from Facebook. You get what I'm saying? Versus Twitter, again, it makes it different.
It definitely opens up, and you're spot on in that regard, because again, we're talking about the ideal of when we look at this they call it the Twitter sphere, right? It's all kind of spheres now: Facebook sphere and manosphere and women's sphere, and now they got this Twitter sphere. And it's just that, because again, it shows that it has a level of gravity in itself, that it commands a lot of attention, because like I said, it's more on the professional side of things, right? It would be like if LinkedIn and Facebook had a baby, Twitter would be it, right? Ultimately, right? In a lot of ways, right? But again, it carries that kind of level of energy before even kind of opens its mouth or step in the room. People gonna know what it's all about. But again, that could be just it could really free him up in a way where it will actually put another badge on his chest, if you will, of just that. Like, well, look, okay, well, now I got this power. When before, of course, I could have been subjected to it too, because one of the things, what did he do? What did he do over the weekend when he was on the board for that every bit of 2 seconds? What did he do? The first thing he did was what? He submitted the idea, because people were saying that they had submitted the edit button was already in play before he came on, but he was already speaking about putting on the edit button. But here's what did he do on the board? Basically, his first day on the board, his only day, I guess, one or 2 days he was on it. He suspended, but he took away the blue check marks of a lot of people on Twitter that he had a problem with. Couldn't make this up. Our good old buddy, Michael Burry, right? Cassandra, right? Y'all know him as the Big Short, affectionately known as the Big Short, right? Of course, the Big Short or Michael Burry been shorting Elon or Tesla stock for the longest. Like people like him and Jim Chanos, they are notorious for shorting Tesla stock. But again, freedom of speech. They have their thesis. They give you the reason why they're doing it. He came on and took away everybody's blue check. Couldn't make this stuff up. Right. So again, just like you said, again, it's everybody jockeying for power. So, again, whether he say, he's doing it for freedom of speech or not, it's always gonna make rub somebody else the wrong way. And that's how these things work. Go over.
No, I was gonna say, isn't there like a backfire to that if he does decide to do that? Like he's speaking about freedom of speech, but yet still, he's taking away blue checks from somebody who's trying to short his company.
Well, he did that as a way to, to ruffle some feathers, right? Let you know what's potentially coming. Now, he's saying he came out later after the fact and said, I'm going to give it back. I was just playing with you. He called him a bastard, too, old bastard. I don't know if y'all saw that tweet. I posted it. No. I don't know if I got you to post in the group. Matter of fact, let's go to Cassandra page, because, I follow.
Yeah, he was talking about Michael Burry. He was Michael Burry. Yeah.
It could be a form of reverse psychology, because if he takes away the blue checks and then people start complaining about not being able to have freedom of speech, then it's actually what he really wanted in the first place.
But here's what
I'm saying?
To that though, Sonny. He actually did it under the guise that, well, I'm just saying his initial words. He was saying that he was doing that because he wanted to figure out how to way to monetize. So the event that before your requirements to get you the blue check before would not be the same if they figure out, you know, another path to monetize the channel even more, or add revenue. It's going to be based upon you having to pay a membership fee to have that blue check. That's the difference. So the only way you get the blue check now, I think the criteria is that you got to meet a certain level of followers, post it so much, or this, that, and the third. Now he's saying, no, we're finna turn that into a paid subscription. So if you want to have a check mark by your name, even the little people, you have to meet a certain criteria and pay a membership fee. That'll give you that blue check, which makes sense if you're trying to monetize your channel. Think about that. Because a lot of people on here that got like millions and millions of followers, they rarely post. And he made reference to that. He's like, look at Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber hasn't posted on Twitter in over a year. I think he named some other little singer chick. I forgot the little chick name. He named her. It's like she got all these viewers, followers, but she haven't posted in months, right? So guess what? We should be able to charge her to have access to this kind of level of this level of followership, and it makes sense from an investor perspective, because you say, well, you know what? If this is another way we can bring in ad revenue, think about all those subscriptions. Now, if they're just, let's say they're yearly value, or there's a month to month, like YouTube does, right? With membership, right? $49 a month. That adds up. That's another stream of income, and it's smart if you are in business to make money. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, in moments like that, it gets really, really interesting. It gets really, really interesting. All right. So as you see here, our good old buddy Michael Burry here. Let me see. Oh, he deleted it. See, that's messed. He does that a lot though. Michael Burry, he'll put some stuff out there, then delete it. But they took away his blue check. You can see clearly here they took away his check. Right? He don't have it up here anymore. And Elon was like, I'm gonna give it back. You can call him a bounce and all that. He still ain't getting the man check back. Right? See, Peter Schiff still got his. Ryan Cohen, people like that, they still got theirs, but he took Michael Burry's one away from it. Right? And I want to show that message. But anyway, nonetheless, he does that a lot. He'll tweet this stuff and delete it. But anyway, that's that. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at here, guys. We'll see. We'll see the extent of how far this really goes. Oh, y'all couldn't even see it. I'm seeing that on the man page, and y'all weren't able to see it.
Was you thinking about putting in calls or puts for next week, or just doing it for today?
No. Well, you might have came in when I was talking about it. I was saying, far as the ideal of, because I closed out my calls from that swung from yesterday. I was saying, in the essence, that every time you have these kind of scenarios like that, when you have a hostile takeover, if it happens midday or at the beginning of the day, typically companies kind of know whether or not they'll, at least think about the idea of thinking about whether they want to entertain that offer or not. And in this case, since it's such a messy takeover, it's going to be that way. Of course, they'll make it that way. If Twitter was to come out and say, after already getting the verbiage of what Elon is wanting to stake in this, that makes them feel very it belittles them in a lot of ways, right? It's like he's slapping them with a glove, like back in the old days, the British people, they slap you with a glove, right? Then they challenge you to a dude. That's basically what Elon did. He slapped them with an old rubber glove, right? Old COVID like rubber glove possibly. And now you say to yourself, okay, well, they kind of already know, right? Nobody offered to buy Twitter, right? Of course, nobody had an offer on Twitter before this happened anyway. Or at least if they did, they didn't brandish it to everybody. But why wouldn't they have? So it's like, okay, well, now that gives the open market 24 to 48 hours, right? 36 to 48 hours to see if there's any other suitors. But typically, you would come right out and say, okay, well, yeah, we accept it. They didn't go as much to say anything else besides that. Well, we received the offer. That's all they said from the board. If they would have came back and said, okay, also, given the conditions of, the current situation with him being on the board, getting off, we're going to highly consider it, right? Because he is big, one of the bigger stakeholders in our company. They didn't go as much as to say anything about that. That shows you again that they're not excited about this whole ideal of a takeover. Now, whether they can do anything to change it, whatever. The only power they got is whether or not they're going to accept it or ask for more money. But ultimately, it becomes a thing where he can force his way into that takeover. That's why they call it a hostile takeover, because money talks at this point. They'll be back into a corner where they will have to relinquish that. To not do that, or to take an offer, let's say he up his offer to, let's say, 50 billion as opposed to 41 billion. What's going to happen to the shareholders? If you was a shareholder in the company, say, look, man, we get it. Like I said earlier, when I outlined all the different things that makes Twitter potential what? A growth stock or not. If you look at the current ecosystem of where Twitter is going, the current trajectory of the market right now, inflation, all these things that we're having to deal with, do you think Twitter's going back to $80 a share? It's, let's say, at least before 2024. Anybody? I'm asking. And this is speculative. We don't know whether it is not. But do anybody think Twitter stock going to go back to $80 a share, or even $70 a share before 2024? Anybody? I'm asking that too, right? Just in case if anybody want to chime in on that.
No.
You say no? Why you say no over, Chris, if you don't mind?
If I'm not mistaken, Twitter is under the Nasdaq, right?
Right. Yep. It's definitely in that tech sector. Definitely a high growth tech sector stock.
Well, raising interest rates is not going to allow that to go that far, unless unless something opulous happens. I don't see that going at $80 a share.
Interesting
In my opinion, with current events, and you really got to think and see and value and see, is Twitter really worth $80 a share? And my opinion is not right now. Now, if Elon come in and do what he does, well, maybe it could be.
But see, that would be the flip side, right? If if he just, say for instance, if he just removed his Twitter takeover, hostile takeover, and just stayed a 14.9% interest in the company alone, right? That alone, but him still being the biggest shareholder, but he give us an influence here and there. Maybe, right? If woulda, coulda, shoulda, potentially, right? But it would kind of go against the contrarian perspective that he's there to reshape the environment. He left the board. That don't necessarily mean he can't go back potentially. I guess I don't know if you get kicked off or you decide that you don't want the position, that you can't go back. I'm sure they'll offer it to him again if that was the case. But you see what I'm saying? That would kind of set that standard. Like, well, no, this ain't great, because you got a hostile person that's trying to take over the company in a position that he typically don't want. You see what I'm saying? As an investor, that sets a sour taste in your mouth. Like, do I want to hold my shares through this drama? Right? Okay, what's our growth story? What is our growth aperture at this point? How can we go? What is our means to increase revenue, right? And improve our margins? You got to start thinking about those things. It's not even anything outside of those things and those things alone. It has to do with the money, right? The dollars and cents perspective. And that's what I'm saying. So if he say, okay, fair value, I'll give $54 a share, right? Top side maybe 60. You see what I'm saying? Is it worth the value of thinking that you can get, organically take the company to $80 a share, void of an Elon Musk presence? That's the $1 million question. So shareholders are gonna be in a position where they're like, bro, yeah, about that. I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. And we're gonna go share. So we might have to settle and whatever. It can go either way. Right? But that's the part of what makes us great in what we do, because we get a chance to objectively scrutinize these companies in a way where it gets really, really in depth, right? It gets really, it's fun in a lot of ways, right? We making money through everybody else's drama, like corporate drama. We make money off corporate drama, guys. Let that marinate. Ain't there something? They're joking out there right there fighting over a little show on Lifetime or whatever little shows is. They little real. They people ain't getting that. They sitting there watching Sports Center right now, getting all sweaty, hot, and musty, arguing with a person about a team. No shots fired, but shots fired. They getting all worked up over trivia things. They ain't getting no money from it. Guess what? We getting the bag from ours though. We get a bag from our drama consortium of delineating, where the bag at, where the bag, bag not. You guys gotta love that, right? Again, I would say it's the biggest. Look, you got. I would say you just gotta love this stuff. What's going on, Sister Monica in the building? We see in the building. Tri-City in the building, right? I see you coming in on the other banner. Y'all see it in the back chat. Tri-City, TRICDYA. That's our Sister Monica, right? But yeah, so that's my approach to it. I think that's what's gonna be interesting. And good point, Chris. Good point. All right, anybody else want to chime in? Sister Angie, we know you came in the building. Shout out to Ilva Angie in the building. Our sister Miss Ilva Angie in the building.
Hi, peace, power, profit, everyone.
Peace, power, profit.
I think that I was about to say the same thing. It depends on what new products he might add on to Twitter if he does take over. But
incentives.
I think that it would take some more time before it gets to that amount without Elon. I think that 2030 is a big benchmark for the whole of for the whole industry, and that until 2030 we're gonna see this stagflation. We're gonna see this sideways type movement within a tight channel. So I don't think without his innovative, the promise of innovation, that it could happen. Go back up to the $80 right now with this climate.
Good point. See, this is why this is why you got to bring on the money crats, right? The money crats come through with that knowledge, right? The money crew come through, with these very informed, analytical outlooks in terms of it, because it matters. Because again, as an investor, this is what we are paid to do, right? This is how we get paid, right? If we are right, of course, right and exact, or at least our level of our speculation comes in relation to where we can see it traversing towards that perspective, right? But that's important, right? Because again, you have to be able to see whether or not, again, let's say before people really fell out with Jack Dorsey, not to say they completely have, but a lot of people fell out with Jack Dorsey because, again, behind the whole Trump stuff. See what I'm saying? Before that, he was somewhat still safe. Now this is like, oh, that was just too much. Again, it was so much so that the brother just threw his cleats on the table at the corporate office and said, I'm going to Africa. You couldn't make this stuff up. So that shows you the stress that comes along with such a scenario. But again, if there was ever was a person to be able to handle it, it will be a person like Elon, right? Because he loves drama, right? He loves that attention. He loves, shaking up, these little pockets of resistance, right? When I say the resistance, meaning these pockets of governance that we know that is very unequally yoked in terms of what they claim they to be, and they are not operating under that mandate. He can affordably change those kind of things because he has the president that he has. Now, financially, will it be a bang? Add a bang to the value in that thing? Of course it could. Why? Because you're talking about the richest man, and people buy into these things. They love doing what? This appeal to what? Appeal to authority, right? This kind of what they call it, when people become what's the saying? How the saying go? When they worship a person, whatever. Y'all get what I'm saying? That in itself.
Appeal to authority.
Hey, not to cut anybody off, but can y'all check to see what the SPY is right now? Because my hands is tied up.
Now, how you investor and you can't check your money? Shame on you, Over. Shame on you, Over, Sonny. You just broke a cardinal rule. I'm gonna do it because you're family, but dog well. How you supposed to be checking money? You can't even check your money. Boy, they ran off with all your little milk, eggs, cheese, cotton. They then went all in your little chain.
It's a free contract right now, so I ain't really tripping. But
no, hold up, no! Don't you dare say that. Ain't no such thing as a free contract. You work hard to be.
Oh yes, it is. It's definitely a free contract.
Well, you know what I mean by that. It ain't free. You work to be in it. And that's money that you ain't give it. I'll tell you what, you gonna get that money to charity? When you close that contract, are you gonna give it to charity?
I make the contract free, so that way if I do miss out, I'm already up. But if I don't miss out,
is you gonna take that money that you made off this contract and give it to charity?
I ain't giving nothing to charity.
You doggone right you ain't. So stop playing. Stop playing. You work to be in it. Yeah, you might, it paid for itself. That's what you mean by free, but I get what you're saying. But nah, you work hard to be in that position. So, you don't want to act like it don't matter. That's the point. Because I want people to realize the energy and what we professing, man, is just that. We working hard, man. It ain't people. I always tell people, especially when it comes to investing trading, and not that y'all need me to say it or not, but man, anytime you get a win in the market, or you able to take from the market, it ain't even showing. My bad. Forgive me, guys. Sorry about that. That's a major hurdle, right? That's a major hurdle and a good thing, and you should be happy about it. And don't downplay it. That's the point I'm trying to stress here. Don't downplay it. Why? Because we know how these things come far few between. Sometimes it comes rapidly. Sometimes it comes repetitive, but it keeps you, it keeps you conscious in a way where you always gonna force yourself to study more. And I know you do these things anyway over time. I'm just singling you out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we want to present that in a way where if anybody else is out there listening, no, this stuff requires solid due diligence. It requires, the proper work research methodology to be in a position to do just that. What he's saying that he was able to, to muster in this moment. Make sense? So, but yeah, if you want to keep your tool belts, your tools in your tool belt near you at all times, because this is money on the table, right? We don't want to get nothing back to Wall Street that we worked hard to get. But as you see, it is down a little bit here, over Sunny. Still downtrending, which obviously, we saw the weakness early on. I saw you and Sister Monica and a few other people, sharing y'all positions y'all took, on the SPY today, and are crushing it, right? Again, they are up nicely on their puts. Get short on the SPY around anywhere between 444 to 443 area. If you got short on SPY anywhere around those areas there, you are doing quite nice right now. Quite nice.
Yeah, my free contract is up 172% right now.
Nicely. Look at that. 172%. When people ask me, how y'all make it 100% in a day, all this stuff, like, man, we show people this stuff all the time. And it's not far-fetched, right? Shout out to Sister Monica in the building. She done popped in the building. Miss Ilba Monica Lamb in the house. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel as well. Don't think twice. Go pay it forward. It's worth it 1,000,000%. What's going on in your world today? Your ecosystem. You and Sonny tanned up on these SPY puts today. All right, I'm right there with y'all in silence because y'all know I ain't been posting all my stuff lately because I got in trouble for posting games, and so I had to kind of back off and post all that stuff.
You can send it to me in my inbox, dude.
Right? See, they're saying some people see the motivation, some people, might have like, that's intimidating. So
it's
I'm trying to be
inspiration.
That's how I look at it. I've always looked at it. I come from that. Y'all know we come from the Discord days, especially over Brandon and over Chris. Y'all know what they were like back in Discord days, bro. You wasn't about that life for transparent unless you post whether or not you was saying what you say you were. But I mean, we know each other. Our value is different. We're family in terms of how we do stuff. But the old Discord room days, you can come in and talking all that. Oh, I did this and did that. They like, where them receipts at?
Yeah.
They like, boy, they'll kick you out the Discord room too. They'll kick you out and bar you. And you like, man, all that knowledge I was getting, I can't even get it now. They'll kick you right on up out of it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
I'm almost. It's Sunny. I almost got that MACD down packed now. I jumped the gun today, but I have another one in the works.
Nice. Again, building on it, and I've just been very, I'm excited to see again everybody's perspective level of growth in this in a way where, I mean, you can really see the fruit of the work starting to happen, right? Because as we've always said, guys, and we're big proponents of this saying, again, whether you follow it or you don't, but I really believe this wholesale, that again, repetition becomes repertoire. You have to get comfortable doing this thing and looking at these things over and over and over again and deciphering this code. It's not as complicated as people make it out to be. It's patterns, it's trend, it's inflow, it's outflow, it's levels. Essentially, that's all it is in layman terms. That's it. I mean, seriously, whatever stock it is, throw it up there. It's going to be just those things: inflow, outflow, levels, money flow. Again, y'all get it. It's the repetition aspect of this that's going to give you that level of insight to make these kind of power moves. And I'm speaking to the trader now, but it also has some immense value to to investors too, because you have to see markets in cycles. If we're thinking short term, guess what? It looks like this. If I'm thinking long term, it looks like something like that. If I'm thinking, okay, well, what's a great backdrop thesis of how this stock is done on a performance level over time? It looks like this. You see what I'm saying? You gain perspective by being able to be comfortable and seeing the markets from from past performance and future potentiality coming from the patterns and trends that it has staked in the sand. Says, given these conditions, this could be the high probability of success here, right? Be it up or down, because we trade both sides, up and down, right? We're not limited to just one side. We're not a perma bull. We're not a perma bear. We're perma opportunity, right? That's just my opinion. I think we're perma opportunist, right? That's the way to look at it. But that helps you, again, shape your narrative that much more better, right? When you realize that you can get a bag again in any climate, given the circumstance, if it's ripe for it, right? If it's ripe for it. And that comes from being a student of the game. Repetition becomes repertoire. You see it enough, you know how to act on it. It sets up all these different nuances that says, oh, this was finna happen. I've seen this before. At least it gives you a better conviction to take the trade, a better high probability of success based upon these rules of engagement. It makes sense? These are things that we're trying to constantly hammer down to get people excited about. Why? Because it matters. You have to become, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. Ain't no other way to say it. You're going to have to crank some charts out, look at them, go over these indicators, go over the oscillators, see how they kind of give you different readouts, perspectives, et cetera. And once that, becomes ubiquitous to you, right? Or like they say, running water, guess what? It's game on. That's what you've been, training hard for. And we don't want to take nothing for granted. We don't want to take the approach that, it came, super easy. That's not the case, because the same way the market give it to you, it'll take it away. The same way it gave it to you, it'll take it away, because you'll get too cavalier and the market will be like, okay, sit here, you overstay your welcome. You ain't paying attention. Okay, let me get that. They were reversing on you so hard, boy. You be like, God, dog, what it snatched all the teeth out of my mouth on that move, right? The market has, again, it's a lot of people jockeying for position. That's the best way to say it. The market is one big jamboree of people jockeying for position. And it gets downright crazy, sometimes. And so, again, just looking at these bigger pivot points and perspectives here, just, since we're speaking on that, where we at? Where's my trading view? I know I have it up now. But let me go to a bigger chart, here. God, dog, where is? Okay, no wonder. It's probably because it's stuck in purgatory over here, possibly. Right? Forgive me, guys. 1 second. Let me get this up here. All right. There we go. Okay. I'm like, where's my chart? All right, but yeah, here we go. So, again, just like we just, we're sitting there discussing this, it requires us to be able to, again, to put put again levels on it. Also, put some bifocals on this, right? Put some respect on it, if you will, right? This stuff gives us, such an ease of operation once you realize, again, exactly what these things are here for, these indicators, these oscillators, the perspectives of how you trade in or around these so-called, signals, right? Essentially, that's what they are. It's signals, right? Highlighted signals, RSI, squeeze momentum, MACD, statistics, whatever you use, divergence, indicators, channel breaks, linear bands, Bollinger Bands, you name it, Ichimoku clouds, range bound values in terms of Fibonacci retracements. It's all relative, right? It's all relative to understanding, what are the market signaling from a pattern perspective, right? And then condense that down to a trend, be it short term, it can be long term, but nonetheless, you're trading the real time price action of what people are providing right now in real time, right? Are they more buy conscious or are they more sell conscious right now? How is the stock respecting or responding to that, right? Coming off certain pivot points. Again, clear as day, guys. This was not rocket science. This just me though. This just me speaking, because y'all know how I am. Soon as I saw this right here, let me draw it. That way you don't have no mistake on why I'm feeling this way, or why I was feeling this way. Soon as I see this right here, a rejection of the 20-day moving average on the hourly, I'll just give me the 200-day moving average on the hourly, on the SP 500. You tapped it here, right? And you open up at around that area this morning. I'm like, oh, that's weakness. And you still got a 20-day moving average that's still below the 200. Either way you look at it, That 20-day moving average is still below the 200, even though you rallied into that. When you broke above it here, or the 20 moving average here, that's why you had such a massive green candle here, which denoted the value that what? That's the just people had what limit order sitting at that point. Nope, that's algos all day, every day. You get green candles to size like that intraday on the
I
hourly,
knew that.
that's algos. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what you go ahead, Eva.
I have once I get my pivot points down. If I didn't pay attention to the rejection on the 200, but when I seen those long greens, I said, "Oh, it's coming back down. This a nice put day. I'm gonna win the day."
Right, you gonna get this bag today.
It was two long green candles back to back. I said, "Oh no, this is too good to be no. That's straight institutional right there. At least I know that much."
Right.
But the only reason I think one of them I put out so early because I was like, oh, I got a little confused on and Sunny said wait for the how do you say that? Wait for the turn or the transition, so to speak. Basically, he was saying wait till it show you something different, and I got confused on a different, but I was on a different chart. So if I get my time frames right, yeah, but I'm gonna be in your league in a minute.
Guess what? And you know as well as I know, and you guys been, again, especially when we, took on this project with, not that,
She getting a little too big for her britches. I'm just go ahead and humble her real quick.
I am.
Humble yourself.
No, that's good training. No, that's called good training. When you listen to those who are training you and you're paying and once you get some of the oscillators down pat and you know your entry point. Like I got my entries, so I'm okay with my entry points. So you move on to the next strength. You don't keep playing with the old strengths when you can develop a new one. So that's why I jumped on the MACD because I got the moving averages down point, but I got to get that peak to chart. If I could get that peak to chart on point, that pivot point, I was like, man, I'm not pivoting very well at all. So I come out too early, even though, I don't want to go on. I think I want to be able to say, okay, I did this just like Oba said. When I seen it test that 200 moving average right there, I knew that was a pivot and it was going to go back down to the downfall. That's what I want to be able to see.
And it comes with time. And again, you guys are doing so great in terms of that, because like I keep saying, we've been at this, for a little while, but again, as I've always said, it comes when you have more interest, right? The bigger your interest grows in this, the more lucid things become to you. Why? Because you're looking very, with more intent, right? To not miss anything. When before you would say, I think this is going to work out because of this, you kind of have a level or, a gauge to a degree, but it doesn't really resonate the extent of how these things really, really work once you begin to research them. Like, okay, what is this indicator really saying? What is this, like you said, understanding pivots, right? When we say, well, when you hit a point where the market is bottom and you have a pattern like this right here, right? These two candles right here. Mm-hmm. If you look at those two candles right there, right beside each other, what are those two candles signaling? What kind of pattern is that? What kind of signal do those two candles read out to you guys? Anybody?
Bullish and Gopher.
But I was gonna say,
these two candles right here. No, what are those two candles together in unison? What do they signal? I should have said it that way. My bad. What do they signal?
Double bottle.
Yeah.
Right. So you can say double bottle too, but as far as the candles themselves, what do the candles? Let me see if I can.
I know when the bullish one is on the left, that's the up, and if the green one is on the right, it would be what's the name of it?
But as far as the two candles themselves together, those two candles together.
Said the candles together, Chris.
Yeah.
What do they read out together?
I guess I don't.
This goes back to our candle patterns, right? Our candle type patterns. What do those two candle patterns together signal? I'm going to give y'all a hint with me. Our good old buddy, bat scientist, come through. You know where I'm going with that. One of his favorite little readouts used to be what? Oh, especially over Brandon. You probably definitely should get it over Brandon. He used to love to talk about them what kind of bottoms? When you take them, when you go to pull that old ingrown hair out your face. Oh all of them hint.
Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
Tweezer bottom.
Say again. Oh,
Double
somebody
tweezer.
said it.
Tweezer bottom.
Come
Tweezer
through,
bottom.
Eva Monica. Them
I got
tweezer
my
bottom.
chart. I'm
That's
gonna remember
clear
that. You know I'm gonna
days of
remember that
tweezer
one.
bottom.
Let me print this off.
All right, let me blow it up now. I'm gonna blow it up now. I put it
I
far
had to
back.
blow
where
it
we-
up. I couldn't see.
Yeah, see that's tweezer bottom all day, every day, right? That's tweezer bottom all day, every day, right? That's exactly what we're talking about here. I can't move it now because it's stationary. Anyway, but that's it. So you got 2 points there where the market hit a hard bottom there, slam, and then you had a clear reversal. Now everything from that point of reversal going forward is fair game. Why? Because now the retracement, potentially what they call the reversal retracement, comes into play where you're trying to now take out previous levels when you fell from. The first level going to be 440, basically 440. That's a half and whole dollar mark. We know how the markets act around half and whole dollar marks. Clear as day. You could write, matter of fact, at that point of 438, you could have easily took a 440 call and played it just for that level and level only. Everything above that is what they call Gravy Valley biscuit wheels. But we know that the rules of engagement tells us that anytime we have such a hard reversal and a tweezer bottom is present, when there's a clear trend reversal, the back testing of this comes into play where you say, well, guess what? Now we get a chance to back test all that previous movement. Why? Because this is going to show you whether or not the bull's about that life. That's a form of natural back testing that algos respect, most big money people respect, and they're going to play that anyway. Why? Because that's the way that they can clean their books. So they put or they short, get long, play it right back to some point of resistance, see if the market really about that life, if they're going to break out or not. And if they can't, guess what? You roll back over. You just making money hand over fist, left and right. Hand over fist, left and right. Right? Hence the calls I bought when it bounced, I say, oh, I'm holding these. Right? I'm definitely holding these into Wednesday. And not only that, of course, we have a short week because this is a holiday weekend. Given the fact that we open up, or we close, week or depends on how we close going into, Thursday or from Wednesday into Thursday, whether or not you could take profit or not. But it was such a massive move off the lows of 438, clearing the 440 hurdle. We went all the way from 440 up to literally 444, close to that. You got to close that bag out. When the market give you gems like that, if you got day trades to burn course, you close that bag out. All right. That's a what? Y'all see the move on that? That was like a 6-7 sigma move. And it was a clean move. We've seen these moves before, and all it was a classic back test. You got the tweezer bottom reversal pattern, clear as day. It was clear. Seriously, no mistake there. It was clear. Everything from that point on, which is what they call Gravy Valley biscuit wheel. Testing your resolve at that point, whether you stay in the trade or you cut, and get out early. Now, again, bird head beat one in the bush, but when you speak about learning your pivots, when we speak about the value of pivot, peak to trough, if you look at this thing from this perspective, what do you see? You see exactly what we've been talking about forever, right? How to play these pivots, how to, methodically look at things for the way that they are and say to yourself, okay, well, given the rules of engagement, if we are going to bounce here, then I'm playing back to to the area where we came from, right? We got to go back and test that area in order to make this official.
Yeah, I got that part.
Markets are greedy. These people greedy. They had all the recipes for disaster yesterday to sell the market off. What did it do? It rocketed on what? PPI inflation, the biggest in 40 years. The market went up on that. At some point, it's going to have to matter. Why? Because we're baking a cake. All these different ingredients are telling you and signaling you exactly the extent of how these people think about these things. They don't care about these things. Somebody had the nerve to say, well, initially the market sold off because it was selling off a little bit because of what happened with, the whole thing in New York, right, with the subway shooter. Now, mind you, we know that's a lie. Because again, the world is going through a war right now and they ain't selling off. The idea that Putin might be doing this and that and the third, it ain't selling off behind that. And you think he's gonna sell off because of this? See, people will make up excuses, right? We know what's going on here, though. Deep down inside, we know what's causing all this. it's money flow. It's people have nowhere other places to go. They're gonna play ball as long as they can until they can't any longer. Simple as that. So it becomes just that what you said, Sister Monica. It becomes a game of what? Pivots. Hence, I always speak about what? Pivots for a reason. Peak to trough, peak to trough. Get used to peak to trough trading. When you're trading a ticket like the SPY, a big index like this is more geared towards peak to trough because it's what? It's big inflow, it's volume, it's massive, value that's baked into all these different companies. Again, it gives you a better radius that you can play off of. Unlike a company that's going through what? Some short-term volatility. Again, a la Twitter, what happened with that today? Gapped up and what? Sold off, right? There's your peak to trough with that, right? And it happened pre-market in a way where, you were stuck. If you can buy the real shares, but options, you were stuck until the 9:30 bell, right? But this is how this stuff works. So guess what? You pull back, you tested 200, you fail. Now you pulling back. All you did is came back to that same area that we were what? That was a problem of interest yesterday. What was that? The 440, because it was a notable resistance on the way back up. Clearly, here, halfway of this big bearish engulfing candle here, hold dollar mark that's natural. Again, if you take it even further, look further to the left again, what do you see? Area right here, 440. Here we go. Not rocket science. It is not. Why is the market bounce right now at 440? Why did the market bounce right here at 440? And kind of going back up right now. If it's short term or not, doesn't matter. But the market bounced right here at 440. Why did it do that? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Look at this candle right here in the middle. What is that candle right there? What is this candle right here? This one right here. What is this one right here called?
Hold on.
That's our universal candle too. That's a universal candle. What kind of candle is that called? That's a universal candle.
Oh,
what is a basic candle? What is a basic candle called? What is this basic candle called?
You made that change. Did you send it to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This candle right here. What? Come on now. Y'all both know that. Y'all know this stuff too. Y'all cutting up right now. That's an old-fashioned doji. It's a doji. A doji denotes what? Neutrality or what? Trend reversal. It denotes neutrality or trend reversal. You pull back, pull back, pull back. You hit a bottom at a major point of support that was old resistance. You strike a doji candle. They did it purposely that way for a reason. They struck a what? A doji candle. They made sure they closed it right at the aspect of a doji. And guess what? You get an instant pop back up. A whole point move to the upside. How many people you think make money on that call reversal right there real quick? Got them a quick little point. And it's still within the same hour that we're trading in right now. Make sense? I might be nerding out on y'all right now, but this is how you get to the bag. Sorry about the upper brand. Just seen you popping back in here. This is how you map this stuff. And again, we're going to go over this stuff over and over again like we always do, but this is how you see how money works, how this flips, right? There you go. Oprah Rich B was on in the back chat, YouTube. Get it in. Oprah Rich B in the building. Clear, good old-fashioned doji. Denotes what? Neutrality or what? Trend reversal. Now imagine adding that to your game plan and getting better and better at being able to read those candles too. You talking about a technician, tactician, boy, a sniper, boy, look at him. Boy, how that saying go? Where they get a load of me? Boy, y'all gonna walk in the room, boy, money bags, you're gonna get it falling out your pockets. But again, it's just becoming familiar with what the landscape that you guys are now traversing. No more, no less. Make sense? So it's going to help you with your trend reversals. It's going to help you with pivots. It's going to help you with being able to ID money movements in real time, right? Speculative values, when you plan out certain resistance point, clears their resistance there at the what? That flat line, 20-day moving average there on the hourly at 442, clearly, right? Resistance, break away from it. Come down, form a doji at the nearest point of support on the way back down. Old resistance. You get a quick little what? Uptake bounce on that, just for people saying we don't want to go down too fast too soon because market makers still not trying not to pay out these puts. Again, it's a lot of different moving parts, a lot of different forces. We get it. But once you get it, you can bake this thesis in your head and know already what's going on before you even go down sometimes. And you just mapping money. Imagine, again, wait till y'all get to that point. Some of y'all, right? But y'all just flip a script on the stock, play it to the upside, get you a quick little back, stay in the puts you already in for more pullback, and you just made your quick little, bought 10 shares, a 10 lot value of call on that trend reversal of the 440 pivot right there with the doji. You played it back at least for $1. That's all, maybe we even play it for $1, but you had the potential to take our way back to 442 because we hit resistance there several times, and you just pricing in about a 2 sigma move off that reversal.
I'm waiting. I'm ready.
And you got 10 contracts, and you getting a delta of maybe like 92, 93, or 88 per every dollar. You just picked up a quick little 88 to 90 cents per contract, and a 2 sigma move. And that's an easy You see what I'm saying?
You said all we need to do is trade the SPY, get your good 100, 200 days. So I said I'm trading just the SPY.
And all that does is transpire it'll move to these other assets will be just as much a fair game once it becomes universal. It's patterns, it's trends, it's inflow, it's outflow, it's price action, right? The fundamental stuff has its play in there too, but at the end of the day, once the market get to rolling, it's rolling now. It's like you going down here with a boulder strapped to your back, right? When it gets really going, in other ways. So a lot of different things to look at in that regard, but it opens up a wave of opportunity. But just stay patient, stay hungry, stay humble, and the rest will be history. Right? The rest will be history. You're gonna learn more as you go, as you tinker with these charts, you tinker with these, different outlooks and different perspectives. Your mind is constantly searching out all values of probability, all the variables, if you will. The goal is to eliminate those variables. You're in the business of, you are real scientists. Y'all don't understand what we do here. How does a scientist determine whether information is more probable to be fact than theory?
Test it.
How do they test it?
Over and over.
By what means? They have to do what?
Quantitative? What do you mean?
But it's definitely quantitative, but the value in which they do it, they have to falsify all the variables.
Oh yeah, they got to falsify all the variables. Yeah, you have to come up with the variables and then test them.
Denote them, right? Deductive reasoning, falsify them. The more you falsify those variables, it makes it more conclusive that it's factual. See how that works?
Yep.
Is that not kind of the same energy when it comes to some of these charts and these? It's the same reality. You're playing under the bell curve, the probability bell curve, the probability bell curve. Again, we're dealing with a speculative value, but it comes with a level of value of probability based upon this, that, rules of engagement, blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, you got more of a solid conviction based upon, this, that, I need to be trading it this way. And as one would say, the trend is your friend. It opens that door. You're not sitting there arguing with yourself whether or not you see what you see, or you're noticing that things are starting to happen. That reversal counter there, that doji, clear as day. The same way we denoted the tweezer bottom here, that was a reversal for yesterday. It was clear as day. And all you say, okay, well, I play it safe. I just play for the 440 calls out the money and give myself time to work into it. And it cleared it and went all the way back to the point of resistance where it came from before, up hitting the 200 moving average. A massive one, especially on the hourly chart, that that carried a lot of weight. Bada bing, bada bung. Right? Y'all want to get paid or y'all want to get paid? Right? Y'all with me here? It's fairly with me here.
I'm tracking.
Is it making sense? And it's going to make more sense over time because, again, repetition becomes repertoire. Right? Repetition becomes repertoire. And that's what's going to help shape and govern your perspective and your outlook. The more and more you see this stuff, the more and more it's going to make sense.
Have you all ever talked about doing rollovers? Like, I know I had some puts, some SPY puts that expired right before the week came, where everything
I have definitely.
started going down.
Definitely, I've done that. Again, but that's the scenario where you want to make sure that you are more profitable. Yeah, you want to make sure it's a winning trade, though. Not necessarily. You don't want to put good money on the bad trade. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Sister Eva. What you saying?
No, that's it. I think that, with the rollovers don't always cost that much just to put a later strike date. So I just wanted to mention that because a lot of people, might just let their options expire without using the rollover option. Just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, for some people, you're right, and that's important. I hope you brought, and we're gonna go into that inside of our training. I use a lot of that stuff like good for, especially for our training too, because it's really good information. You know what I'm saying in that regard, because at that moment we're focused. See right now, look what the SPY doing. What is the SPY doing right now? Y'all see this here? Are y'all seeing this here? Can y'all see my chart? It's showing, right?
Yes.
Where is the SPY going?
Going beyond that, moving, going back, still staying up there, still going up.
It's going where? This is
Upward.
the candle that we're looking at right here. This candle right here. Where is it? Because that's the most recent candle. Where is it headed?
Green.
It's green. It's definitely green. But where's resistance?
At
the top.
Let me clarify y'all what my moving averages are, so y'all won't be confused, at least in that regard.
Yeah.
That blue line is the 20-day moving average. The yellow is the 200.
It's going towards the 200.
The blue one is the 20, and the yellow is the 200.
The 20.
It's moving towards the 20. Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Because it acts like a magnet. So it's pulling back to. Because it. Hold on.
I'm just keep elaborating, keep talking, because I want you to you got to work these theses into understanding based upon the rules been given, not that what you guessing. Is just, what they're doing, right? What else? Keep talking.
So it seems like on the camera it tests the support right here on that red one, and it bounced off.
What is it? I need you to tell me what it is. Not Eva Market. We got to get this stuff sharp. We ain't gonna play these games. All this studying we've been doing, all these training. Look, it's gonna have to. No, y'all doing good. I'm just saying. I want y'all to get comfortable speaking the language too. Why? Because at some point y'all gonna have to share it with somebody. You want to give people good information, right? Y'all know what I'm saying. So when you see that candle,
if you look up towards the left-hand corner, you can see the key for his marks to see which line it is.
That too. Over here.
I'm using my phone, so it's small. You can bring it back up on my computer.
That's all right. But again, we're just talking about these different candles and what they mean and importance of them. So clearly, if I say a doge after you hit that slam on the brakes at a even hold dollar mark like 440, y'all know how algos are. Y'all know how Wall Street is. Wall Street greedy, and they don't want to pay out. And it's an OPEX day. Clearly, I'm just saying this: how you play back to the upside, make you some money back to the upside, get your quick little 2 sigma move, and bang out somebody about like 10 or 50 calls down here in the money to play back just towards that 20-day moving average. They finna make a killing inside of this hour worth of what trading. A killing.
That's expensive. How much did they pay for that?
Yeah, I paid it back.
I can show you right now.
$100,
Y'all know this stuff
$117.
I wrote a song about it, like to hear it. I wrote a song about it. Yeah, right. Catfish. What
I was so proud of my put, and then couldn't get back to it when it was expiring. Like, damn. Like, oh, next time I'll get it. I'll get it next time.
I did money work. I did money work, boy. Y'all, I gotta get off here soon too. I gotta pick up my vehicle, getting service. I've been running around. I got a lot of errands to run. So forgive me, guys, but I'm gonna show y'all this really quick here. We talking about the 440, right? See right there? That 440 call at that pivot. Now, this is after the fact. We know it's less than that now. I guarantee it's less than that. It was less than that when they bought it. Why? Because we talking about the pivot, right? It pivoted right at 440. That contract now is up a whole what? A whole dollar plus. A whole. You with me here?
Yeah.
So that means, or somewhere around, it might have been, maybe what, 50 cents? It might have been, but before it went back up to where they're saying 90 for that 440 call, it might have been like 50, 60 cents.
So that's $50, $60.
If not more. And I'm doing hypothetically, right? Because at the point where it pivoted, even though this don't give you real time.
Between 60 and 75. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say probably it was, I would go as far as probably say like about, I would say about 30 or 40 to be exact, to be honest. Just by using
that's not bad.
Right? And now it bounced off the reversal as we were just speaking about it. And look where it's at now. Y'all see the candle? Let me see, it's not showing. I forgot I'm on my flipping. I'm saying where it was going, right? I'm telling you I was going back towards that 442, right? and that was when it was sitting up under 440, right? Or under 441. Let's go see where it's at right now. Y'all want to see where this thing going? Like brother said, y'all want to see my face? Right? Clayton Bisbee. Y'all want to see my face?
Yeah.
Y'all want to see my face? Let's go see what it looked like. Oh, I'm sorry. You at 441.68. Oh, 441.77, huh? Oh, okay, my bad. I didn't know you were trying to get back up. Oh, it got up as high as 441.80 something. See how that worked? And them calls for the 440 in the money at that point of the pivot this late in the day, even if you're doing expiring today or if you being put out for money, but especially if your dad ever doing it for the day, that contract at the 440 in the money at the point of pivoted there was about 30-40 cents a contract. And now it's worth about $1. It's worth $1 plus, near $2 dang near. If it keep going up, but near $1, $1.50. What's that $1.50 somewhere around there? Again, how many you could have bought if it was at 30 cents a contract if you got $1,000?
$1,000.
All of us. I see you
Y'all
about to
think people
fill up that
y'all
gap.
think people out there wasn't doing that? Y'all think other people out there wasn't doing that?
333.
And you got a
It's
sigma of about a 1.5 per contract. Man, that's your whole entire. You talking about a good Friday? You can have a good Saturday, good Sunday, a good everything this weekend. Man, all right, y'all get it.
Yeah.
So this is how.
Yep.
This is why I may be a little radical in my approach, and I know I get excited about this stuff, but I'm only professing that what I know we're capable of being able to read and do in a way where we're talking about the opportunity why we're here. We're not here to prove anything to anybody. We're here to prove it to ourselves first and foremost. Second to that, we're trying to be consistent at it, right? Because it's about base hits as opposed to home runs. Third to that, honesty in terms of what you're able to account for is only going to improve your ability to assess the market properly. You got to be comfortable and at least knowing some of the basic rules of engagement beyond a buy sell, but it's going to help your game even that much more when you see these little signals are being thrown to you. Again, a tweeze about them, a doji neutrality reversal that turned bullish on a downtrend at a major support point that hit resistance on the way back. It's back testing. It's y'all get it. I mean, I'll be speaking to I'm blue in the face, right? But I love this stuff for that reason. This is why. And people just turn around and they made money coming down, made a big bag, and they turned around and made them another big bag on the way back up to try to test that 20. And if it fails and it comes back down to they go what? They probably got a couple more puts they still held on to, the ones they already selling to 440, held a couple of them, right? And playing it back to the upside for another little bag, and then part of playing it right back down if it fails. I need people to sit there and do this and just like, I'm good. They sitting there, got the headphones on, listening to Fed music, eating Twizzler, and just rocking out, just making all this money. And then when they done, they just take the little headphones off, money bay, and they just go. They go about their little day. And they just pop in the little chat room. Yeah, that was a quick little 20,000, 30,000, 15,000, 1,200, 1,000, 1,500. And you be like, you're going to be looking at him. Look at him. Look at him. All that made all that money. Look at it. Look at her. And you like, yep, I'm gone. I'm gonna go hang out somewhere at the little whatever. Right? Go hang out at the park somewhere now. Come on, guys. Unlimited opportunity. Unlimited. So that's why it pays to be proficient. I repeat, it pays to be proficient. You don't have to be, the biggest Wall Street mouthpiece on the planet in terms of all the terminology and lingo. I get it, but some of these basic things we're gonna keep hammering them for a reason. It's to give you proper context and understanding what they mean. Says a lot because this is money. That candle right there, that's a money candle. Right? Coming off this pivot at the 200, that's a money candle. The pivot at the 20 here, failed resistance, that's a money candle right there. trend reversal, pivots. Let it open up, let it breathe. It was already going on the water. It breathed. Look, now, okay, we sitting halfway. We can make that push to get back up there. Markets are trying to play, theta burn right now. Basically, it's killing money. Basically, at this point, it's getting into the 2:00 hour. We know what's going on now. And that's just algos trying to slow the what? the decompression to stop pulling, pulling back in the long at this point to punish anybody who didn't sell down to that 440. And just like you just spoke about, Sister Angie, that becomes a great opportunity to potentially do what? If you think the market is still giving you downside signals into next week on this pop back up here going towards that 20-day moving average, if it gets up there, especially if it gets all the way up there, but maybe even halfway at 441.70, 441.80 area where it got, somebody probably did what? Rolled over their puts. Why? Because you get that rollover cheaper when it went back up. You roll it back over for next week. Now you situated for into next week. And it now becomes a game of let me see if the market gonna shake me out or what, or I'm gonna be right. And now I got money going in the next week where it's gonna it's gonna be working over the weekend. My money working for me.
Exactly.
Bada bing, bada bung. Y'all with me here?
Best time to learn during this time.
Real time.
Definitely.
And they call it live action. Y'all remember the old show back in the one of those animal plant? Live action. That little dude running around kissing all the animals. Live action, boy. We got some live action now. That's exactly what's going on here. So it's just nuances, right? It's X's, it's O's, it's probability, it's pivots, it's reversals, it's money flow, inflow, outflow, price action, sentiment. Of course, in regards to that, because a lot of it is just that. Too, and it's a 3-day weekend overhanging you, and that Russia is still a wild card, and they up in the and they threats. Finland and Poland thinking about Finland and Sweden thinking about trying to become NATO allies now. Putin already made it very clear that's a no-go. They're gonna break treaty if they try to do it. Now they're circling their wagon because they're nervous. It's going to get. We're gonna have that conversation on a bigger time frame. That's next, because now you got to start factoring in. All right, we'll talk about it next time. I'll leave it at that. It's about to get messy. As much as they're trying to act like it ain't, it's clearing up. It's going to get very messy, and we didn't get a chance to really talk about the CPI. I just put this right here. See this right here. This right here tells you a lot about what you need to know about fall the Feds. We already got them in our back pocket. We know what they're all about. CPI, right? PPI, same reality. You know what's going on here. Oh, we at peak inflation. Okay, game on, bro. Okay, yeah. Yep. Not far away from stagflation. You right on the cusp of stagflation. Right? Oh, we know clear. Everything. And next month starts what? What happens next month? Anybody? What happens next month on the economic side of things?
Earnings?
We in earnings season right now, right? No, but on the economic side of things, false government. I mean, hint, wink, a little bit.
Next quarter.
Reporting?
Next month. What happens next month?
Job reporting?
The Feds is having a conversation next month and they're going to be hiking up doing the rate hikes even more. I mean, the IRS, whatever they're doing.
50 basis point is called FOMC meeting. The next FOMC meeting, they're going to speak about the idea of what? Increasing rate hike. What did Europe do today? Christine Lagarde came out of the ECB and did what? Signaled that they're going to stop doing what? Bond purchases in Europe. Europe is worse off than we are, mind y'all. They need to keep printing more than anybody because they're what? They're hurting more. If they're stopping bond purchases and raising rates more, because they've been raising, repetitively, that's only going to what? Exacerbate or push the idea that we can't what? Be behind the curve anymore than we've already what? Put ourselves in this bad position. Income, the ideal of we know the rate hikes are coming, and they're going to be based upon the ideal of what we're getting, at least 50 basis points, and we're going to start doing what? What's going to happen to the balance sheet? It starts next month. What's happening to the balance sheet? Hold on one second, guys.
Reserve balance sheet. Reduce the size of the reserve balance sheet. That's what they want to do. It says principles for reducing this. Well, that was last one. So what they trying to do to the balance sheet? It is going to be off balance. We're trying to balance it.
Isn't it a financial quarter at that
So
time? Mo.
next month,
Huh?
what's gonna happen to the balance
No, I was
sheet?
saying, isn't this another financial quarter?
But yeah, that too. But I'm saying, as far as economic
Yeah, coming
policy
up.
value, what's gonna happen next month? Y'all supposed to know this too. Y'all gotta know this. And now, see, now this is the point where I say, you know what? I gotta browbeat y'all just a little bit now. I gotta get a little bit more strict than that because we've been going over this stuff like a million times. This is how y'all gonna get paid. We try to get paid. Y'all are doing good anyway, but what's happening next month, guys, with the balance sheet? What have they been doing before today? I'll just say this way. What have the Feds been doing before today?
Printing money.
Okay, lots of it, right? $6 trillion
wilding out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's gonna come back to its
Yeah.
reality.
So what they doing next month?
Trying to balance it.
Okay, so when you go to balance it, what do you do?
No, they gonna have
If
to.
you have surplus and you need to have what? If you're trying to
you gotta
counter that,
adjust
you have to
it.
go through a what?
Sell
When
off.
you trying to
you
what?
gotta
Get rid of that what?
sell
That
off.
winning weight.
Yeah, you gotta-
What do you do?
Yeah, get rid of excess. Huh?
Production.
Oh,
You pull it back.
They always say reduce the balance. Reduce the balance
Ah,
sheet.
that's of course they gonna reduce it. Now you talking now. $95 billion worth.
Ooh. So when they
See, now-
reduce the balance sheet, the market. Go ahead, keep talking.
No,
The market goes into correction. Basically,
it,
once the balance sheet gets corrected, it goes into correction. Isn't that right?
well, it's an ongoing process. It don't happen all overnight. So,
No,
look how
yeah,
long
it's
it
like
took
a
us to get to
domino
this
effect.
point. That's exactly what it is. Look how long it took us to get to this fit where people would just run around thinking that every day was a holiday in the market because of all the success of printing. This has been happening ever since 2008, guys. We started quantitative easing one in 2008. We just ended a 13-year cycle of unlimited printing, essentially by the Fed, who's priced everybody out the market from mom and pop, Main Street people to the brink of destruction, to the life we've never seen it like this ever before. That's why your inflation is at what? 40-year record highs. These things don't just happen out of an anomaly. It didn't happen just because of COVID. It didn't just happen because of war in Russia.
I'm done. You need to leave here.
Where was he?
I'm working on my.
You could have known what these people been doing. This is criminal.
So that means that I guess the digital currency is kicking in then, because they're trying to say, so the money has no value. That's what they're going to say. So they're going to use the digital currency to correct it. Whatever anybody has, they're going to,
It depends. Tomato as far as asset classes. But you know how this stuff goes. The most universal hedge for excessive money printing is what? What's the most known form of money that we all know to be true and exact?
Gold.
Is the gold standard.
Boom, right? Non-negotiable. If y'all thinking different than that, let me be the first one to bust y'all bubble. It ain't no Bitcoin, ain't no crypto. Gold has always and will always be the universal most form of money, or silver, right?
That sounds like the ruble.
Right? Ruble is fiat currency, just like anything else. It's fiat. All these central bankers that print money, they're fiat, no matter what. If you're trying to hedge against that level of inflation of that value, I'm not saying just run straight to go, but y'all get the point I'm making here. I'm laying the framework so you understand. When you take away that punch or that extra liquidity of fake money, monopoly money from a system that's been jacked up on it for so long, what does that do to stocks who benefited from that cheap money and low interest rates? It puts a pause on all that euphoria, growth story stuff, and it becomes a domino effect, just like you're speaking about.
Chart patterns.
So it's like they're calling they filing bankruptcy, right? They like.
Got some ink with
the problem with Bitcoin is what? I've said this many times. I have a problem with Bitcoin being correlated to equity market. I remember when they made that shift and made Bitcoin converge with Sister Money, I'm sorry. She might have been talking about it. She was talking some business too. It made, when Bitcoin converged with the S&P 500, I said it's game over in the worst way. Because if you're trying to say that Bitcoin is decentralized and it's a hedge against funding money, you done made Bitcoin synonymous with equity markets. That's a bad case for the SPY. So if anything happened to equity markets, they're gonna say, "What? You was with us too." So we're gonna sell you
alarm
off.
on?
That's mine going off. I got my alert set. See, I'm y'all know I'm responsible.
I need alerts like that because
y'all better get it work. That means that thing making money. When that thing pinging, that means I'm making money. That's all y'all need to know. You making some money. That thing going off. But y'all can set that. That's free. That's free on TradingView. You get one with the basic service. Now see what the chart doing right now. Can y'all see my screen? Let me oh, y'all can't see it.
Yeah,
look what the thing back down. It's right back down towards that what? See? Y'all get it. But yeah, stagflation. Right? Stagflation, all these different things. Y'all know how this stuff works. We've been going over this stuff, until we blew in the face. We're gonna keep doing it too because I want this stuff to set into y'all psyche. I know this is new for a lot of people, and it's like, yeah, man, but I get it, man. But what's important all this? It's very important because you got to speak this financial literacy to your babies now. You got nephews, you got nieces, you got loved ones. You are now becoming the vanguard to teach them this stuff, to pay it forward. You got to give them good information. Y'all go hard when it comes to Hebrew stuff, Moors and Egypt. Y'all go hard with all that stuff like that. But when it comes to this, y'all look, man, come on now. We got to do better. We got to do better because this is the what?
I guess all the gold that was taken from the World Trade Center is going to pop right back to the economy.
Look, it's going to get weird. It's going to get messy out there in these Wall Streets, literally. And the global market streets, if you really want to go there, it's going to get messy out there, guys. Don't get it twisted. It's going to get messy.
Can the Feds file bankruptcy?
They monetizing debt. It's unconstitutional. They buy junk bonds. They were just buying all kind of trash during COVID. Just illegally. And they only gave y'all a funky little what? $2,000, $3,000 little check. And took $6 trillion out your what? Your boy, look at here. I know. Look, I get going in, but I can't. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I want to go in now because y'all. Look, we've been have one of the round table discussion. This would be a real red table talk that bumped Jada Smith, right? We're gonna have a real red table talk in a minute here, but we'll say this for our training sessions. All right, we'll say that we'll caveat this into our discussion this evening, and we hope you guys are able to tune in. If you can, we'll have it archived on YouTube, even though we will have it'll be a personal panel perspective because again, it's part of the mentorship. But again, if you support the channel, we appreciate you. If you support what we're trying to do here, we appreciate you. If you want to contribute to the channel, there's my cash app. Throw me $1, throw me $2. I don't care. I'm gonna take that as a sign that you're serious. That's what I do. That's how I look at it. Cause I'm gonna go to work when I cut this computer on. I guarantee you that. You don't get nothing from me but the honest, hardworking truth, unbiased truth, right? But we're doing this because we're trying to really get people.
You slapping the Fed with that. You slapping the Fed with that truth.
With that glove, like they say how they do in Europe when they don't challenge you to a duty, they slap you with the glove first, and you be sitting all appalled. I'm appalled. But you do that in the hood, you're appalled. You finna get all kind of knuckles. You finna get bricks and bottles and everything. Yeah, boy, you put their hand on. But yeah, that's the market is appalled now because the Feds is taking back all this free money, this loose money. It's like, are you serious? But again, they play dumb for a reason. Is that not the pause of America? Benign neglect, play dumb, even when you know that they know this is different, still play dumb. Eventually, somebody gonna be like, well, the government, right? Are you kidding me? Like, you couldn't make this stuff up.
The Fed was under duress.
It matters. Say again?
The Fed was under duress.
Man, these people, boy, them criminals. Look at here. But y'all already know. So that's why this stuff matters. And again, no matter how much we talk about it till we blue in the face, guys, right? Repetition becomes repertoire. They finna reduce by 95 billion. They was what? Printing 120 billion a month for mortgage-backed security and T-bills. Now they're reducing it at 95 billion to try to somewhat in their mind fight inflation. Now that's supposed to be equivalent right? This 95 billion reduction on the balance sheet per month is supposed to be equivalent to that of a natural 25 basis point rate hike in tandem to the one that they're supposed to do. It may supposedly it's going to be 50 basis point, supposedly, but equivalent to that, it would be that rated as a 75 point rate hike. Now, it still does no dent into 11% inflation, a 20% inflation. The real numbers of y'all know is well beyond what they tell you that it is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's a lie. And y'all know that's a lie because we told y'all and showed y'all how to go check real inflation. Remember we went over that day? I don't know if y'all remember. I'm still if y'all paying attention now. Y'all remember that day we did that video on how to check real true inflation? When they get these CPI and PPI data readout, how do you go check the real numbers? I'm asking now. All right, now I'm gonna ask y'all joking. Now I'm gonna see if y'all joking. I know y'all be busy dealing with the real world, but look, y'all got to be able to get this stuff and retain it because at some point people gonna come to y'all asking y'all them questions. Y'all be like, look, this is how you go get it, right? This is where you go find it out. It matters. It matters, right? So how do you check real inflation? And there's several different ways you could do it, of course, but universally, if you are a trader, what's the barometer to tell you whether or not your economy is being stress tested or not? What assets do you check to see whether or not your economy is being tested, stress tested? Say again?
Is that the bonds?
Close. That's one of them. No, that is one of them. That's one of them. That's one. What else?
Verdict
Y'all
yield.
know it.
Well, that's the same thing.
Sunshine. Minute. I'm going to play charade with y'all. Minute Maid.
Minute Maid.
Quaker Oats.
Consumer.
Smithfield. Smithfield. Quaker Oats. Minute Maid.
Retail.
A consumer staple.
We talking
CPI.
about equity assets. I'm hint, wink, wink. You said bonds. Now we talking about what's the other thing to stress test whether or not your economy is what doing good or it's not. What's the one thing kicking everybody in the teeth right now?
Consumer goods.
High prices, food.
See, deep.
Yeah,
Y'all need to be looking deeper. Y'all deeper than Atlantic Ocean.
Oil,
Y'all rapping
oil.
and spitting to somebody that's opposite sex, man. Y'all need to stop playing with me right now. When y'all spin, y'all talking, y'all talk, but y'all be going deep. Now all of a sudden y'all want to play around in the shallow pool part of the pool now. Y'all ain't right, but y'all jokers ain't right. Boy, look, I'm finna fire y'all. Go deep. Y'all know as investors and traders, we're bred to think deeper than the average Main Street person. What's causing inflation? It's oil. What's
oil?
What's making it worse? Okay, now you're talking. What is oil?
Crude oil.
No, what is it on the base case of equity value? What is it known? What is its nomenclature value? What is it named in that perspective of where to go check it? What is it called under the umbrella of equity value? It's called the what?
Oh my.
Boy, y'all know this here. I know y'all ain't sitting here playing around. We didn't know this a million times. Let me go see what the YouTube fan does. I know there's somebody popping over the YouTube. There's somebody on the YouTube side saying anything. But y'all look at family Yoda. I'm gonna show it now. I'm gonna show Yoda because Yoda then went there on y'all. See, Yoda then went there. It's like, look, I'm gonna get these jokers, but they're playing around. They know what it is too. Look what Yoda said. I'm gonna highlight it too. See right there. Now y'all know better. Now y'all know that's what it was and what it always been. It's commodities. Y'all know this because you paying for it at the grocery store. You buying that Minute Maid getting hit across the head. You buying them eggs and bacon and getting hit across the head right now. And you act like that's probably what they didn't beat you down so much at the grocery store. Y'all can't even say it. You don't even want to say it now. That's sad. That's sad. But I get it because it is kicking everybody in the teeth. It's kicking everybody in the teeth. It's commodities. And so we say, well, how do you check that? You go to the what? You say that that song gonna take that thing to trial, right? You take it to trial. You go right on over to what? You go right over here.
The indexes, investing.
You go right on over here.
Okay.
What are these right here? This is your global market. in more ways than this, some, because the world is shaped by whether you can what? Feed or clothe yourself. Not how many flat screens you got, not how many EVs you got in your garage. It's basic necessities, staple items. And then after that, discretionary. Then after that, possible materials. But it's in unison to those things as far as energy, utilities, food. Again, that's why they strip out energy and food from the CPI and the PPI data, right? Because they'll what? They'll tell the true story of what inflation really looks like. And economies got to lie. Central bankers got to have a scapegoat. They say, well, we can't put that in because they're too volatile type readouts. They're going to go up and down a lot. So we can't measure that from month to month. That's a lie. You're a lie if you say you can't measure it from month to month. Because you're causing it. Why? Because you got too many dollars to too few goods, which causes the prices of stuff to go up. And now you got a war on top of that. And the biggest wheat producer on the planet, which makes majority of the stuff that most people eat, breads and pastas, is what? Shut down because of a war. And you got a food shortage going around the globe right now. Lebanon and Egypt. Egypt is the biggest importer of wheat on the planet. They can't even bake bread in Egypt right now. They starving. Lebanon too. And many other places. This stuff is look, these people ratchet. Look at him. This is how you tell the true nature of what inflation looks like. From month over month, because that's a readout. It happens every month, right? Well, look at natural gas. On the month, it's up 60%. Heating the oil values like that, kerosene, stuff like that. The big refineries and foundries where they, foundries, where they melt and smelting iron and steel, 28-30%. Look at London oil and gas. Like, look, see, know that oil and energy, right? See, killing them. 27%. Orange juice. Not even messing with my orange juice, bro. Some of y'all drink that orange. They're killing it down there in Florida. Florida got bad crops. It's bad down there in Florida right now. Orange juice is up 27% on the month. Orange juice. Cotton. They go cotton again. Cotton making a rebound again. There go your pants. There go your shirts. There go your what? Levi's. There go your Bugle Boys, whatever y'all wearing. Wranglers. Well, I'll just cut that. Whatever. All the expenses of y'all you putting on your britches. 20%. Zinc. How important is zinc? Now you're talking about batteries, right? Now you're talking about, a lot of things that come. Again, gasoline, y'all see here. Look at all the energy stocks and stuff like that really tearing up the what on the month. But they tell you that what? It's going down. Didn't they say that oil is peaking? Didn't they tell you oil was peaking last week? But look what it did on the week. 14, 18, 17, 11. Look at Brent and WTI crude. That's why you really tell right. Look at these. Look at the year to date. Oh, it's peaking though, bro. Oil is gas price when they go back down, bro.
They're trying to create the scarcity, trying to make it look like there's the scarcity.
Joe Biden took from the street petroleum reserve. He took from the SPR stash, and we good now, bro. Are you kidding me? They will look you in the face and look at him. Soybean, sugar, 7% on the month. Oats, look at oats kicking everybody in the teeth right now. All your Quaker oats right now, 12% on the month. Kicking in, see, coffee, cocoa. So y'all get it. When they tell you that it's one thing, come check the real commodity. Know why I say that? Because what are commodities in terms of the global markets? These are spot prices. You can't manipulate these unless you shorten the stock or doing that. But outside that, these are spot prices, global spot prices. America can't cook these books because somebody in India is paying the same value on a spot case based upon their currency. It's spot prices. So if they tell you that inflation is peaking, let me go check my purse. Let me come to the commodity markets and see what's popping over here. If you see no declination on the month-over-month value in some of these more high-fly ones, then get what? They just talking outside their mouth. Now notice the ones that came down last month are some of the ones that were riding crazily high the month prior. And they just doing what? Pulling back now. Lean hogs, live cattle, palladium, soy was ripping, wheat was ripping. Now, guess what? Wheat is getting worse, is it not? Are we not going through a food shortage now? How much wheat do you think it counts for as far as global markets in terms of their food consumption? How much bread do people eat on a daily basis? Anybody? I'm asking.
A lot. I know wheat is a shortage because one of the boats showed up somewhere. They don't have no more wheat. I forgot the country.
Egypt is completely messed up.
Egypt.
Lebanon,
Yeah,
it's many other places, but in America
yeah,
alone, bread,
Lebanon. Yeah,
pasta, spaghetti. But
yeah.
that
It
they
showed
spell
up and it was
spaghetti,
wet.
Isn't that
spaghetti.
we
They spell
short because of Ukraine?
they the biggest wheat
Right,
producer
Isn't
on
it
the
a wheat
planet.
shortage because of Russia,
That's,
Ukraine?
y'all supposed to know this. You got to be
right.
talking to your babies about
Yeah.
this. Y'all playing. That's the biggest wheat producer on the planet. We talked about this months ago.
Exactly.
We
Yes,
was already
yes.
talking about this. Like if they go to war, this was going to disrupt this market. We talked about it. Neon. We talked about natural gas. We talked about wheat. We talked about all these products that Ukraine and Russia has for resources, potash, fertilizer. What's happening right now on the farms around America? They got no fertilizer. The orchids in Florida right now, meaning the orange orchids, right? I'm from State Florida. They're going bad right now. They ain't got enough fertilizer to what stimulate the trees to produce good.
Well, maybe
I
that's
just
why they
showed
went
y'all
around
orange juice is
destroying
going
those
up right now.
farms.
Look at oranges right here. Oranges up 23%, 28% on the month dang there. Are y'all seeing this?
That's why they went around destroying those farms in preparation for this. Now
Look,
we know why they took down the farms and Bill Gates bought all the farms and all of that bullshit. They were
well, I
getting
mean, he
ready
found
for
out the
this.
Midwest, it's still opportunistic land. Of course, you think about that. That's opportunistic land that could be used in case of a fire sale moment in America where we have a martial law perspective where they can say, I got land. Guess what? I control the food. Guess what? I'm a GMO you to death. Anyway, he's the biggest purveyor of Monsanto. If he's the biggest purveyor of Monsanto, you think he'll be going organic crops through the Midwest and we run into a food shortage? It's going to be what they call laid, what they call spray. They say when the woman do her hair, fried, dye the legs to the side. It's going to be.
Wow.
See, all right. I gotta go, and I want to go in right now because now, see, y'all look, y'all lucky right now. They're looking like y'all lucky right now. I gotta go, but I really want to go in on this. We'll pick it up later because it matters. There's a shortage on chickens right now. What's going around on the chicken farms right now?
Yeah,
We got bird flu all of a sudden again. Good luck, all you chicken eaters, and I ain't coming at you, but I'm going at you a little bit, because your chickens all
Yeah, a lot
jacked
of
up right now. Hope y'all don't get sick.
all the meat,
I'm being
all the meat
done.
is jacked up right now. There's a lot of bad meat going out there, a lot of bad chicken too.
There's the bird flu going on right now in America, and some of these chicken farms. It ain't even of a debate.
They feed the chickens soys though.
They feed them things all kind of trash. Corn, high corn fructose, Monsanto sprayed corn seed kernels coming off the what? The feeder corn. It's the feeder corn strain that they use. Of course, if y'all know anything about DC, my little region area, if you ever go on Powder Spring Road or Powder Spring Road, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the FDA and the USDA, all that stuff at. They got them corn stocks. All right, next time y'all come to DC, y'all ever in this region, I'm gonna take y'all on a nice little field trip if y'all got time, right? I'm gonna show y'all all this stuff that. All right, y'all. All right. Let me go. Let me move on. Cause I'm having my nerd moment. I'm having a nerd moment right now. My head about to explode. Right? Yeah, you gotta know what's going on, guys. These people been, look, these people been experimenting. I'm just gonna leave it at that. They've been experimenting since experimenting.
Soylent Green.
Soylent
Green. Go watch it. 70s movie.
You gotta know what's going on. We don't be, we ain't coming from no conspiracy theory stuff. We ain't telling you. That's weird too, because we're not even coming from conspiracy theory stuff. We coming straight from primary sources. As investors, we make money on primary sources. See, a lot of people can't say that in their field of study of body work unless they have a lot of conclusive evidence. If they don't, a lot of it is speculative and conjecture. Over here, look, I can show you. I can take you to it. Here's the latest data point. It can be skewed to a degree, but for the most part, if the consensus rates this as more of what? Probable, guess what? This is the end result. Not rocket science. And we got spot price commodities to kind of back it up, lets you know what's going on. The farmers are telling you what's going on because they're in this to make money. As they say, if you ever want to get somebody attention, you mess with they what?
Money.
They money or they honey. Stop playing. Y'all know what it is. We're inside the belly right now when you're dealing in a financial market, because this is what everybody hide out in that got wealth. You see how that word? They're hiding out here. They're not hiding out in those other talking points that people getting all sweaty and musty on. No disrespect. Right. They're hiding out here. You want their attention? Affect this here? Oh, you got their attention. They fist the cuff. They got arms, pellet guns, slingshot, everything at the ready. Pitchfork, they ready. It's more of an incentive why this stuff is important. Because guess what? You get to get paid in essence to learning how to track just those or these things. Make sense? It should be non-negotiable. If you hungry in the aspect of what this really does for you, given the right proper perspective. Make sense? You want to know all that you could potentially, your mouth and your mouth can speak and your mind can hold. You got babies, nieces, nephews, loved ones, spouses that you need to be speaking to in a way where they know exactly what's going on too. A lot of people don't understand how inflation is kicking them in the teeth. A person like you all could be that layers on to help them bridge that. Where to go to check the data. What does this mean? What's the importance of this? And guess what? If they're not invested, this is the reason why you need to start to really help them get exposure to the idea of how the system really works. It protects those who own what? Assets. In the discussion. I don't care how much crack if you're a crack dealer, you can't sell enough crack to equal what this market offers as far as crack. I don't care if you sling whatever you sell or doing, it can't equate to what this market provides in that regard. You talk about, we say what, about $6 trillion moved around the world on a daily global transaction. That's just global movement of money. Stop playing. Same way we was looking at that spy trade, that little pivot reversal, and made that bag off that quick. If we was just like, here's a theoretical trade. Here's your doji reversal candle. This how you gonna play this pivot to make you another quick little bag on the way out the door for the what? The weekend hits you on the way out. What's it? The door line hits you on the way out the door. This how you gonna make your little bag on the way out the door. And it's just what? Wash, rinse, repeat. What the stock at right now? Right back down as we said it would. Roll over, come up, try to test it. Somebody make a quick little bag to the upside and swing they what? Roll over, they puts in the next, potential next week, play it way back to the downside. Where the stock market at right now? Hit it right back to the what? Back to the downside. Go figure. Now, was that an educated guess or was that more of a what? A strategic synopsis? Clearly it was strategic under the rules of engagement, on the price action, on the trends, on the reversals, under the pivot rule of law, on the investor sentiment rule of law. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. Are y'all with me, family?
Yeah.
Are y'all tracking? Is everybody tracking? Let's pay attention that can. Are y'all tracking this stuff? This is how you get to the bag. It's equal opportunity. It's EEOC, or what they call it, EEOE, or whatever it's called, whatever the symbol is. Equal employment opportunity, whatever it is.
EEOE. EEOE.
Guess what? Your kids can be employed over here. Facts. Your kids can be employed over here. Facts. But they got experience or no experience. How about that? All right. Look, inflation is real. Let's go. Let's go. It's Fed Day. Even as we getting close to Fed Day again. I'm finna run it. There you go.
Dick. إذا
Pay you by
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Hey, who you talking to? Just know I ain't no regular fool. Could be anything in the world, but I can never be you. Because I stand tall like I'm on my tiptoes. Baby, you think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Hey, where the money at? Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get it and split it with my kinfolk daily. And I'm the type of I might change my number on you. Yeah, that's how you react when people took a slumber on you. Pretty brown skin, baby, I can see the summer on you. You see all the bread, and I know it make you wonder, don't you? I ain't surprised at all. Seen them rise and fall. Went up the mountain, it wasn't hard to climb at all. At the top, I found some relief. I finally got some peace. Carry on, but please don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I worked too hard for it. No, I need it, beat it, before you mess up the mood. Yeah, ooh, I worked too hard for it, and I need it, so please don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I worked too hard for it. Yeah, don't mess up the mood. Oh, it's so crucial, I gotta keep it. It's in the air, it's everywhere. No, it's not a secret, and I bet they didn't think that I'd ever did it. Everything you've done, I did it. The life you dreaming, I live it, and I'm coming in high. You better get out the kitchen. Yeah, I could make a hit on whatever you pitching. Baby, let me fill up whatever you missing. Or you like it up at the top, it's a better view, isn't it? I'm not surprised at all, no way. Hey, what you need? Come on, just pay the fee, I supply it all. Went up the mountain and it wasn't hard to climb at all. At the top I found some relief, you see, so please don't mess up the mood. Yeah, I worked too hard for it. No, I need it, beat it, before you mess up the mood. Alright, ooh, I worked too hard for it, and I need it, so please don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Don't mess up the mood. Yeah, oh come on, I worked too hard for it. Yeah, don't mess up the mood.
Everything is twofold. What's joy is pain on the other hand. And what happens when the one that you love is the main cause of your suffering? I need you like I need air to breathe. I need you to save me from me. I'm caught in your wave, I'm drifting away. I need you to save me. Please don't let me drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. I'm drowning with all of this darkness surrounding. You need me like you need air to breathe. You want me to save you from me. I know that you're trapped inside this wave. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna save you from me? I can't see you drown. I can't see you drown. skies. I learned to love and can't you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. It's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. I can't breathe. I need to get some air, but it's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. You can't breathe and you just need some air. Yeah. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the catch you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. A perfect storm, a beautiful catastrophe.
The bar raising, we keep moving it up. Ain't no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I got faith restored, why you pushing the brakes? I ain't full of myself, boy, I'm full of mistakes. I came from humble and roots, I'm here to stand and deliver. Had no one gassing me up, except the man in the mirror. I used to work on my handles, and now it's handles of liquor. I write these songs in a dark room, the candle will flicker. I stay practicing heavy, for when the game's on the line. It's like over and over, I run the plays in my mind. I'm a psycho, I'm taking my time. Rushing perfection is a dangerous crime. You gotta give it and take it. That's what you do till you make it. I had to roll with the punches and take the hits from the flagrants. I'm saying the bar raising, we keep moving it up. And no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. An off game don't mean I'm losing my touch, and no excuses, I ain't using a crutch. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I was falling, had me stalling. I was way down, now I'm balling. I done came up, and I called it. I done came in the clutch with the game on the line. I know I operate from a higher place. Wait, some decisions don't try a race. I'm doing what I can to fuel the flame like a fireplace. To make a bunch of money, buy my mama a fireplace. We make incredible songs to celebrate and get mad lit. Once upon a time in Hollywood, I'm like Brad Pitt. My homies say I live a life, yeah, just a tad bit. Learning how to move in this rap shit. I told them that the bar raising, we keep moving it up. And no surprises here, they knew it was us. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. An off game don't mean I'm losing my touch, and no excuses, I ain't using a crutch. Apologies if I was doing too much, but I always came through in the clutch. I was way down, now I'm balling. I done came up, and I called it. I done came in the clutch with the game on the line. I know.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver and signs to let them in. Chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, I to stay on the go. I came to play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me. Then I double up again, none of their nose. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted. So I'm 10 to 1 if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close. I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke. I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me. They need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea with ace a marine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they will lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats. To turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in signs to let them in. Chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane.
Yeah. Ow! Yeah. Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore. Just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids. And for their kids, it's kids. That's wealth, years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big. The only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. Gotta do it big, that's the only way to live. Gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. I gotta do it big. Gotta do it big. That's the only way to live. Come on. Yeah, come on.
All right, that gave me every bit of the time I need to handle some business real quick before I get ready to get off here. Appreciate you guys for being patient. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. As you see on the screen, therein lies what we talked about. Stuff is not rocket science once you realize the rules of engagement. As the market rolled over and the money was made back to the downside, it's just more of a sign that, again, when you understand exactly how these things, or I'm gonna keep saying it this way, understand the rules of engagement, you're better well suited to be able to trade the price action properly, right? You understand the trends, the values that are, purported based upon, again, the outflow and the inflow value of markets, right? So nothing new to us. We're gonna stay true to that, to the education, of course, the ideal that we're trying to convey through proper market analysis, financial literacy as a whole. Is transferable, right? It's a skill set that's transferable, so pay it forward. Educate those who are around you more than average. Get them excited about growth through using these equitable assets at any manner or any means, so to speak. So that way you can build an army of people who realize that this is how you're going to really move the needle at the end of the day. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna have to get off here because I got some things to do here. I'm already behind just a little bit here, but no worries. I appreciate you guys' patience. I appreciate your patronage to the channel. I appreciate your likes, your shares, your again subscriptions if you do subscribe. If anybody is signed up for the mentorship, my link is down in the description box. If you want to be a part of that, check me out, WeTradeHQ.com. If you want to support me through the value of Cash App to say, hey, I appreciate what you do, in terms of what you do on a daily basis when you're able to offer stuff, hit the Cash App. I don't ask for nothing in that regard, but if you choose to, there it is. All right. So we appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I know the rest of you guys out there making moves and, checking your traps before you get out of here for the weekend too far as the markets. I know Sister Monica grinding. She always is grinding, right? Well, as everybody. But any last words, Sister Monica? I know you probably getting it in right now anyway. So if not, I know everybody on the backside of YouTube. We appreciate you as well. Everybody came through on the panel today. Over Chris, over Sonny, but Angie came through today as well. Make sure I ain't miss anybody here. Yep, that's everybody came on the panel. And obviously Miss Sister, Miss Monica Lamb, right? Miss Monica Lamb. We appreciate her as always too as well, right? So everybody on the YouTube side, Oprah Ramsey, Oprah Rich, right? Oprah Divine came through as well. Brother Mathis, our family Yoda in the building. Our family P Smooth came through in the building, right? Everybody came through today as well. Again, appreciate you all. Appreciate what you do for our patronage in the channel as well and being supporters of this. I'm humbled by that. Oprah Ghost came through as well. Brother Ghost Alchemist in the building. Shout out to the resident OG, right? Been doing this for a minute too. Shout out to him. Wealth of knowledge in his own right. Our family MG came through, right? Shout out to you as well. And Oba Chavez in the building, holding it down. Appreciate him as always. Our resident scientist in the building as well. Resident scholar in his own right too. Shout out to Oba Chavez in the building, right? Thank you all for tuning in. And we will catch you guys on the next one, right? Shout out to everybody. Have a great day and a great remainder of the trading day. Peace, everybody. Peace.